The views and opinions expressed by the host and the guests are solely their individual opinions and does not reflect the opinions of the Canashame Network. Viewers be advised.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I keep writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep, wonder but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on.
Hey everyone, welcome to Yo Rants Oversized Load. It's me, Yo, taking you into the world of cannabis. Tonight, we're peeling back the layers of history, tackling some tough laws and sharing real life stories. Our spotlight, Mr. Nathan Ross Johnson. Don't forget to follow the Canashame Network at Canashame and me at Herbal Trucker and at Yo Rants 101. All right, y'all ready to dive into this? All right, here we go. And here with us tonight, Mr. Nathan Ross Johnson. He has taken on the name The Lab Rat, and we will find out soon. Mr. Nathan has a story that weaves right into the heart of America's complicated relationship with cannabis. His experiences shed light on what happens when society, law, and personal health collide. Mr. Johnson, it's great to have you here. So I guess I better bring you to the stage. What do you think?
It might help.
You know. Hey, Mr. Nathan.
Hello, Miss Yolanda.
How you doing? Glad to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here now, Miss Yolanda. Very, very honored to be here today. Or should I say tonight?
I know it. Because, like I say, I'm used to being asleep right about now. Well, I ain't gonna even say that. I'm used to just sitting there trying to finish up some work. But, you know, I'm just grateful to have you here to share some insight from your story. I know we had our first interview. I'm getting ready to drop that soon. It's finished as soon as I get through editing and stuff like that. But welcome, Mr. Nathan. It's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Nathan. So we can go ahead and hop right on into it. You know, could you start by introducing yourself to the audience and sharing a bit about your background?
All right. I'm going to do it like I seen other folks do it since I'm not a big interviewer person. So I'm just going to do it like most folks. My name is Nathan R. Johnson.
All right.
I was born at Hugh Spalding Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, making me a Grady baby. Okay, I'm a Grady baby. I was born in what society called the perfect American family. My father and mother lived together with us. I have 5 siblings, 3 brothers, 2 sisters. None of them ever been convicted of any crimes. And I was the only black sheep, if you want to say it, a white sheep. I got convicted, guess for what? Marijuana. But that's it. Other than that, I went 60-some years of my life without ever being convicted for a crime. Anyway, my education started at LP Mile Elementary School in Adamsville, Georgia. Okay. And it was a fun time, you know, boys played and stuff out in the woods. We went looking for tadpoles, frogs, even snakes. We did boy stuff. We didn't need mama supervision, daddy supervision. Just be home before the street lights came on. You know, we was kids. We played. I mean, we scraped our knees and had to walk all the way back home to tell mom, hey, I scraped my knee. But by then, you done stopped crying. You man up. Anyway, we were good boys. And all while I was at LP Mile up to the 7th grade, like I say, we just did boy things. And we didn't do drugs. We didn't smoke tobacco. We didn't smoke marijuana. We didn't do no drugs because we was high on life. All of it was high. My father he was buying the house at that time. He eventually paid it off. He got a house on a GI Bill from having honorably served in the World War II. And he got a job at the Federal Post Office. So, you know, we were looking good in them days.
Yeah, that's a good
So
thing.
I had nothing to worry about. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. So when I came home from school, she was there. I had a meal ready when I got home. I had homework. I did it. My mom was the enforcer. My dad worked 6 days a week. And he instilled in all of us the drive to want to read, to learn for educational purpose. Knowledge is key. It's the one thing that once you got it, they can't take it away from you, whether you get a degree or not. Once that knowledge is in your head, it's yours.
Yep.
Okay? Whether you pay your student loans off or not, it's still yours. They can't take it from you. Now, I left LP Miles after I graduated from the 7th grade. My parents wanted me to be bused in this magnet program. And I went to Southern Middle School. Some of you familiar with it. It was out there at Buckhead, over there by Chastain, that little arena where they always play the music, where they have to cut the music off. Yeah, they have to play that. They have to cut that amphitheater music off exactly at 11 o'clock. Or Ruthie, the one that runs Live Nation, have their butts. They do not play in Buckhead. But anyway, it was while I was at Southern Middle School in a new environment. Believe it or not, I'd only seen white folks on TV and at the local stores. Sometimes you had some white owners that own stores. So when I got bussed out to Southern Middle School, that's the first time I'm around a whole lot of white folks. And they weren't bad people. I mean, I like the white people. They seem real and stuff. And some might say they was a bad influence on me because I picked up smoking tobacco and smoking marijuana hanging around with them.
Okay.
See, I was a member of 2 cliques, the cool clique and the high stoner clique.
Okay.
See, I didn't want to go no further than marijuana, see. And believe me when I say I could have easily gone further than marijuana. I'm not saying nothing negative about these white students. They were great people. They were my buddies. They had access to more drugs than I ever seen in my life. They 13 years old. We in the 8th grade. They got access to all kinds of drugs. Some of them, they're getting it out of their mamas and daddies' medicine cabinet or whatever. Quaaludes, all kinds of stuff. But like I say, I've always been a tobacco and cannabis man. I know where to draw the line. So doing like most people, when I graduated from Southern Middle School, I went right on over to Northside High School, which they call North Atlanta High School today. It's located in Buckhead. You know, they got all kind of money. They got money for days. And they got a very good educational program over there. And I went over there, and of course, my buddies went over there, and I'm still smoking. But you still got to do your work. And it didn't bother me to smoke and do my work. In fact, I was very good at being high and doing my work. Some of the best teachers they had, believe it or not, they were black. They had black teachers that used to look at me kind of funny. Funny because I was getting the answers right, but they knew I was kind of with the stoner clique. And everybody tried to act like you representing the whole race and all that. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm gonna keep this moving. So I stayed at Northside High School for my your
sophomore year.
Your 9th and your 10th year of 10th grade. Yeah, I went all the way through that.
Okay.
Then I realized something. I was in the full bloom of puberty. And ain't no way in the world I was gonna get busy with nobody's daughter. Not that far away from where I live. I don't have no car. I'm not blessed like some of these white children whose parents just give them cars. No, I didn't have a car.
Okay.
So I wanted to get closer to home. So it worked out to where I was able to transfer my junior year to C.L. Harper High. That's in Atlanta, not too far from my home. They call it Charles Lincoln Harper High School. They now call it They now call it Harper Archer. After they closed down Perry Home and all the folks in Perry Home was coming over there, they call it Harper Archer High School.
Okay.
Well, I went there, and I'm gonna tell you, and I hate to say this, but education was very lax at Harper High School.
Oh.
The teachers spent more time trying to keep order, to keep folk quiet. I'm not used to that. See, I'm a peaceful stoner. When we was at Northside, you got high on your weed and you went to class and you just paid attention.
Okay.
You didn't disturb the class. You just kind of absorbed it, go home with your books, learn what you got to learn, so you can come back the next day and surprise and shock everybody when you get the answers right going to the board and you still smell like cannabis, but you getting the answers right. I used to love math and I'd be killing them in math, but anyway, I don't want to go too far that way. So I stayed at Harper my junior year. Now, while I was there, they put me up for most intellectual. Can you believe that? Just because I do my work and pass in my papers on time, they put me up for most intellectual. I didn't win because the majority of the people didn't know me.
Okay.
You know, it's politics in high school. But the other guy, he was pretty smart too. So I ain't gonna take nothing away from him. He was pretty smart too. They knew him more. I'm just a transferee from, North Side to their school. So I didn't have no problem. But then at the end of the year, I was talking to some of my instructors and I was letting them know, hey, these classes really ain't challenging me. They're not challenging me.
Okay.
So the administration worked out a deal where I could do my senior year at Southwest High School, which is now Southwest Middle School on Benjamin E. Mays Road. And I would finish my senior year there, but I would still graduate with the class of 1978 out of Harper, Harper High School.
Okay.
So I left there. Now I'm gonna continue a little bit more on education, and I'm gonna be quick on this because I know we got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover because, like I say, this is very entertaining.
Okay, my background. Then I just say I then went to Atlanta Area Tech, took up electronic technology.
Okay.
And I was fine. And I'll tell you more about that for when we talk about other issues.
Okay.
But I got the education on that. I went to the Navy. I got more education on electronics. Then when I got out of the Navy, I went with a dual degree engineering program to both the Atlanta University Center and Georgia Institute of Technology, which brought me into studies like advanced biology, advanced chemistry, advanced physics, advanced math, and computer science. It was all there. But I want to expand my mind, and I took classes I wasn't even supposed to take. Yeah, I was making great grades. I mean, I robbed so many children from Morehouse and Spelman in the dual degree engineering program when we used to go to the Nico Hotel in Bughead, and all the big corporations would come there and they give out money and they give out these awards. And anybody that was around, let's see, between 1992 and 1997, they know me. They mamas were looking at me. They were like, who that old dude? I was in my studies. And I was just taking all these awards and stuff. I even interned at General Motors, Delphi. They think tank. Yeah. They were like, who is this old dude? He's taking all these awards. But my wife was with me, so they knew not to step. My dad used to love it though, boy. I did it for my dad. I just like to see him smile. Anyway, when I left out of there, I went and I worked a little while. I did a little work with Marta. I did a little work with Bell South. And we worked. It was pretty good. Then let me just say, to finish off on who I am, I'm a father. I got 2 daughters, beautiful daughters.
Mm-hmm. I'm
a grandfather. I got 4 beautiful grandchildren. Well, one of them handsome because he's a little boy. I call him bobblehead. I call him bobblehead. He like to run around, and when he stop, he like to do a little movement like he just scored a touchdown. So I call him bobblehead. But he was funny. Now, along with that, let me think. Yeah, another thing about me, I value truth and honesty above all else.
Yes.
And I despise lies.
Yes.
Especially when the lies being told by our government.
Oh, yes.
Is hurting countless numbers of American lives daily. Excuse me.
Take your time, Mr. Nathan. I'm telling you.
Now, I'm gonna close on that part by saying, as I told y'all, I started smoking cannabis at the age of 13. I'm 63, finna be 64 in September.
Okay.
4 years of my life, I didn't smoke cannabis. That's while I was in the Navy.
Okay.
And then there was a period of time, both while I was in prison for 20 months, I didn't smoke cannabis. And that was a period after my arrest, February 13, 2019, that I smoked no marijuana at all, which we're going to get into when we talk about other issues. But yeah, that's about it for right there. Now, you say you want me to discuss my current health conditions?
Yeah, you know what? That is the absolute next question. That sounds like, yeah, because you covered all that.
Okay, I thought you said, all right.
Yeah. Like I said, you keeping me on track. Like I say, we keeping each other on track. Yeah. So
all right.
Let's get to we broke down for your background a little bit. So
yeah,
and I know that you mentioned a little bit about your 20-month incarceration. We're gonna get to that, but let's find out, why did you get the name and how did you get the name the Lab Rat? You know.
Well, wait a minute. Now you don't want my current health condition? Okay, I'll do the Lab Rat.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did I pass that? I skipped that one. Oh yeah, what is your current health? Yeah, could you share your story about your current health condition?
All right,
it's late. I got you.
Now, everybody, don't freak out.
Oh God!
Because you can have some illnesses and know the Lord is with you. See, I'm so happy to tell you what my illnesses are because I know what the cure is.
Come on, all right.
I presently have been diagnosed with prostate cancer that's not being treated. I also have diabetes now, they say, that's not being treated. I also have peripheral arterial disease, known as PAD, P-A-D. I have been diagnosed now with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. I have deep vein thrombosis, DVTs. I have PE, pulmonary embolisms. And last but not least, they say I got mild emphysema. Now, before y'all freak out, and I want to clarify something because I don't want nobody going out here trying to attribute all this to marijuana. Because for one thing, if I got emphysema, I sure am talking loud.
You are. You talking. You talking. So
now I'm gonna give y'all a little background so y'all can understand what happened. See, on February the 13th, 2004, it's something about February 13th. It's like my day, everything go crazy. Okay, I get arrested. Anyway, on February the 13th, 2004, I was in a very serious car accident.
Okay.
And my right knee was fractured in several places. All right, fractured knee. To keep it short, because I can tell y'all some stories and make you laugh about me walking on a fractured knee, because Grady said it was deep blunt force trauma. They looked at it and said it was blunt force trauma. I done rode the trains, the buses on a broke knee. But that's another story. We ain't gonna go into that because that'd take too long. But anyway, Grady finally did an x-ray and realized, that's right, they did all this, didn't catch it with the MRI, didn't want to do an x-ray, but finally the man got tired of sucking this fluid off my knee every other month. So he say, okay, go on, get an x-ray. We got an x-ray. They like, oh, Mr. Johnson, don't get up. I'm looking at them crazy. How you think I got here? I just rode the train and stuff, walked all the way here. Oh, your knee is broken several places. I think they said 3 places. So they scheduled me up for a knee surgery. And they put these 3 metal titanium screws in my right knee to hold it together. Now, unknowns to me, these 3 metal titanium screws are causing me to produce blood clots. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until it was written in my medical records from Northside Hospital and the Mayo Clinic, where they both had been conferring through telemed to say, Mr. Johnson had an accident and a surgery in 2004, and they blamed it all these blood clots that I was having on that. They didn't blame it on the fact I've been chain smoking tobacco cigarettes since I was 13 years old. They didn't blame it on the tobacco because all 10 of my bodily systems were operating normally. Even my pulmonary system. Right now, doctors will put their stethoscope to my front chest, to my back, and they like, boy, how in the world you got emphysema? You not wheezing. We don't hear no rails. It's a miracle, they say. Yeah. Anyway, they charged me too much money. So I had to go to the VA and the VA Veteran Hospital, because I'm honorably discharged veteran. They'll see me. They start checking me and stuff, and they gave me some rat poison. Okay. They gave me warfarin. They call it Coumadin.
Yeah.
Anticoagulant. Kept me on it for 1.5 years. Now, you're not supposed to be on warfarin longer than 6 months. But they kept me on it 1.5 years till my friend, Miss Roebuck, who's an RN, told me they ain't supposed to keep you on there that long. So anyway, they discontinued it. They started giving me these statin drugs, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, you name a statin, they were giving it to me. I didn't really like it. They kept talking about for cholesterol. I didn't understand that the marijuana that I was still buying from people and smoking had been saving my life all this time. See, Northside, they did genetic tests on me to see if I had these genes that cause blood clots. Because nothing was making sense except the accident. But then, how in the world did Mr. Johnson stay alive for 7 years? He got multiple DVT. He got a history of multiple PEs in his lungs. So they wanted to know, how did he stay alive? Well, at that time, I didn't know. I'm like everybody else. I'm just smoking cannabis. I'm thinking, hey, I'm just getting the buzz and relaxing, you know. I heard folk call it medicine, but I didn't really know nothing. So I just took it with a grain of salt. They call it medicine because they want an excuse to get high. That's what I used to think. Well,
I know that. I know the feeling.
Well, in 2016, though, in 2015, I've been doing some research on cannabis.
Gotcha.
Well, let me not say cannabis so much, because the government research is not on cannabis, it's not on THC, and it's not on marijuana. Okay. What the government research is on is synthetic, the benzo BD5 whether they be tetrahydro or hexahydro. That's what the government research is on. So if you put it together, you got tetrahydro, the benzo BD, and if you go hexahydro, the benzo BD5, you got HHC. Both were created by Roger Adams in 1940. That's a whole nother segment. We'll talk about that on another day.
Gotcha.
Okay. So knowing the things I was looking at, and then I came across this U.S. patent about cannabinoids as antioxidants, and neuroprotectants. And I got to reading it because, I can read it. My background allows me to read it. I have background in chemistry. I got background in physics and stuff. So technical work don't scare me to read. It just means read it a little slower. You don't read technical work like you do a novel. A romance novel, you just ripping through pages. No, you don't do that with technical work. You have to slow it down. You have to make sure you understand every sentence before you go to the next sentence, because it all builds upon itself. Well, while I was reading that particular patent assigned to the United States government of America through the Department of Health and Human Services, then what I noticed was that they are talking about THC. They know it got medical capability because they've been studying it since 1940. I got plenty of patents, but that's another day. But when I got to the part where they was talking about all the illnesses from Alzheimer's and Parkinson and asthma and diabetes, and it just went on and on and on, y'all, muscular sclerosis, you name it, it was just going. But when I saw venous thromboembolism, you done woke me up now. That's my illness. That's what blood clots are, thromboembolism. So I'm like, whoa, okay, that got me going.
Which exhibit is that one? I'm trying to find it. I'm looking for it now, so I can go ahead and share that screen.
Wait a minute. Let me look at my big book I call The Wrath of God. Wait a minute.
All right, there. Come on with it.
Exactly. You want that one for the United States cannabinoids and stuff? That is.
Yeah, because I got them all pulled up, what you shared with me. So anytime you want me to pop something up, I got you.
All right. It's somewhere around 111. Let me see.
Well, like I said, you don't have to worry about it. Like you said, we can find it another time. So just be ready anytime you want to.
Exhibit 111.
111. Gotcha. I'm going to pull it up now.
And just bring up that front page so people can see that it was assigned to the United States government through the care of the Department of Health and Human Services.
Gotcha.
And this was done in 2003, long time ago, and they kept their mouth shut about it. See, there's two ways you can tell a lie. I don't know if the people can see it. I don't know if you can blow it up or not.
I'm gonna blow it up, and basically I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share the link. I'm gonna share the document in the description once I get through posting this. I'm gonna see if I can blow it up. Let's see.
All right, while you're trying to blow it up, I'll continue. There's two ways you can lie to a person. You can tell them out of your mouth a mistruth, or you can, by omission, not tell them the truth. So you know the truth. You allow these people to believe a lie. That's lying without even saying a word, because you know the truth. All righty.
Yeah.
So what would
blow it up? No. I can't.
Well, don't worry about it.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah,
go back to that front page so they can see what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and cover the whole page. Here we go.
Okay. Well, right there, you see who this patent is assigned to. All right. You made it a little smaller. You can make it a little bigger. You was on it.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. If you look, you can see who it's assigned to. The United States of America, as represented by the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, if you can scroll down some to where it say abstract.
Okay, gotcha, right here.
All right.
You need me to blow it up some more? Okay.
Well, you can blow it up a little bit more if you want to, but if you can. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell the viewer out there the same thing I told the brothers in prisons when I was educating them on these same documents. Don't try to make sense of everything you hear. Just go with the English words you you recognize and you're going to get an idea of what's going on. It say cannabinoids have been found to have antioxidant properties unrelated to NMDA receptor antagonisms. This newfound property make cannabinoids useful in the treatment and prophylaxis of wide variety of oxidation-associated disease, such as ischemic, age-related, inflammatory, and autoimmune disease. The cannabinoids are found to have particular applications as neuroprotectors. For example, in limiting neurological damage following ischemic insult, such as stroke and trauma, or in the treatment of neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and HIV dementia. Non-psychoactive cannabinoids such as cannabidiol, they spelled it wrong, but don't worry about it, at high doses, useful in the method of the present invention. A particular disclosed class of cannabinoids useful as neuroprotectant antioxidants is formula I, wherein the R group is independently selected from the group consisting of H, hydrogen, CH3, methyl, and COCH3. That's the part that give you your THCAs and stuff and your CBDAs, you know, that acid. Anyway, that is a picture of cannabidiol. And I'm going to tell you how you can tell the difference. That in the middle where you have the O and the R, it's supposed to be an O and an H for hydroxy.
Okay.
That is cannabidiol. It has an open pyrene ring. It is not, that middle ring is not closed. If you look up at the top where you see the numbers 1 and 2. Okay, they are using the terpene numbering system right there. So if they were using the tetrahydro numbering system, the 1 would be a 9 and the 2 would be a 10. And that would be delta 9. Okay? Delta 9 and delta 1 are the same thing. They just different numbering systems. Now, if you were to cause an explosion, if you took CBD and you introduced it into a bomb tube or a bomb flash, and you added strong acids with a base, that would be an explosion. And in that explosion, they make the pyrene ring close. And when they make it close, they make synthetic THC. All right? We got it?
Got it.
All right. Now, if you can go to like page 9 or under the section that say 9, just go on down till you get to the columns that say 9 and 10. I want to show you, since we can see this, I want to show the people all these different illnesses that the government know that this plant can take care of. Well, they didn't use the plant. And I'm going to tell you later why they don't use the plant. Just keep going down. That's all the technical data for peer review with other chemists. Just keep going down till at the top you see a 9 and a 10.
Okay, 9 and a 10. Okay, gotcha. Oh yeah,
all right.
15. Okay, gotcha. Let me blow it back up.
Yeah, blow that up. All right, go all the way down to the bottom. All right.
I'm finna blow. I'm finna go ahead and put it
on. Blow it
me.
up, because I want where it say as used herein on the right column.
Oh, you want the right column? Gotcha.
Yeah, the right column. I'm gonna go over to the other one in a minute. Go down, get it back where it say as. I want to read where it say as used.
As used herein. Gotcha.
Now, if you can make it bigger, fine for the audience. If not,
oh yeah, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I got you.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good. As used herein, a cannabinoid is a chemical compound such as cannabinol, THC, or cannabidiol that is found in the plant species Cannabis sativa, marijuana, and metabolites and synthetic analogs thereof that may or may not have psychoactive properties. Cannabinoids therefore include, without limitation, compounds such as THC that have a high affinity for the cannabinoid receptor. Now, that's all we need from right there, because if I go into it too much, I'm going to lose you, but you can always come back and you can read. What they planning on doing is, since they saying CBD cannot help the people that have Alzheimer's and stuff, because CBD does not pass the blood-brain barrier. But what they want to do is make a Frankenstein CBD that can cross the blood-brain barrier. THC crosses it naturally, but they want to be able to use CBD. Now, why would they want to use CBD? Because the government keep driving these chemists crazy. They've been finding more and more uses for THC. But the government say, if you get high, we don't want it. They let Big Pharma put all these drugs out on the market with all kinds of side effects, including death. But if you, God forbid, you get a little buzz from the THC, oh no, we can't do nothing to help you. All right, now slide over to that other column, the left column.
Gotcha.
Now, okay, go to where it say associated, let me see.
Got it right here.
Okay, right here, oxidative associated diseases. Okay. Blow it up some for the people.
Gotcha.
Oxidative associated diseases include, without limitation, free radical associated diseases such as ischemia, ischemic reperfusion injury. And let me tell you what ischemia really is. That's when a cell is deprived of oxygen. Not all oxygen, some oxygen. All right? Like when you get a stroke. That's what ischemia do. It cut off the blood flow with the oxygen to those cells. So I'm going to continue on reading. Such as ischemia, ischemic reperfusion injury, inflammatory diseases, systemic lupus erythematosus. Wow. Lupus, myocardia, ischemia. That's where the heart don't get enough oxygen. Or infarction. That's where you get heart damage. A myocardial infarct is just another name for a heart attack. Cerebrovascular accidents such as thromboembolic or hemorrhagic stroke. That's me, thromboembolic. I'm like, whoa, hold the phone, y'all. But I'll keep going so I can show you how the government can lie to you by omitting to tell you things and let you believe what they want you to believe. All right? So we continue on with that can lead to ischemia or an infarct in the brain. An infarct in the brain is a stroke. Operative ischemia, traumatic hemorrhage. For example, a hypovolemic stroke that can lead to central nervous system hypoxia or anoxia. Now, when you see those terms, hypoxia and anoxia, that's when your cells are deprived of oxygen all the way. Ischemia is just partially reduced, but hypoxia and anoxia, you ain't got no oxygen, like when you done drowned. And people gotta bring you back. That's what happened to that boy that was playing for the Buffalo Bills, I believe, who died on the field. I know that boy smoking that weed. We know he's smoking that weed, got them locks and shit. We know he's smoking that weed in New York. It's legal. He don't want to drink all the time. So his heart stopped. He ain't getting no oxygen to his cells in his brain. But there was no brain damage. In fact, they say when they woke him up in the hospital, his first words was, "Did we win?" Hey, this boy still remember they were playing football. Come on now. See, if you don't know, you don't know. But when you know and you see the truth, it gets you. But anyway, I'm going to continue on because they got a lot of things here going on. We got a spinal cord trauma. You know, like people who get their back hurt They can't walk well, or they cripple, paralyzed. THC will help that. CBD will help it if you want the Frankenstein CBD they talking about. Down syndrome. How many of us seen these kids walking around looking this way and that way? We know them when we see them. They Down syndrome kids. Did you know that if the mother had been using cannabis with a high concentration of THC, or even if they would have gave the mother that synthetic THC that they got plenty of, that dronabinol, they got plenty of it. If you would have gave it to that mother while the baby was coming up in her womb, it would have crossed the placenta and it would have fixed the conditions that are causing her child to be born with Down syndrome. But they ain't gonna tell nobody because a lot of money in these diseases. Crohn's disease. How many folk we know got Crohn's disease? Now this ain't me showing you some patent from Willie Booth. Nobody knows. This is the United States of America that knows this. And what do? They lie.
They do.
All they do is lie and tell us negatives that they don't tell you the whole truth, because even a negative is only part of the story. As Paul Harvey used to say, I can tell you the other half of every negative they want to say about this plant. Now, let me keep going. They say, autoimmune diseases, e.g. mean, for example, rheumatoid arthritis or diabetes. That's why my diabetes is untreated, because I am fighting for the right to treat my own illnesses the way I want to treat my illnesses. With natural plant-made medicine. I am not going to keep taking big pharma dope, but I got to right now because I got to live long enough to fight this war. I don't want to take it, but I'm going to keep going. Cataract formation. How many people know people got cataract that eyes could have been treated? Uveitis. Emphysema. I guess that's why I can scream like this.
Yeah.
Emphysema folk be wheezing. I ain't ever been woozy like that. Gastric ulcers. That's ulcers that's all in your gastrointestinal line. Well, they done gave you all them doggone NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to help as an auto-inflammatory. But what it does, if you keep using them long time, and they make holes in your stomach, they make holes in your intestines, and then thing you know, you Crohn's disease and needing a colostomy bag. Who in the hell want to shit from up under their arm? It ain't even necessary, but Big Pharma got to sell not only these pills, they got to sell this equipment they making. Them bags, somebody put money into them, you gonna use them.
Yep.
We keep going. Oxygen toxicity. Neoplasia. That's tumors. Whether they be benign or malignant, meaning cancer, like I got. That's why it's still untreated. Strange thing about Georgia, they say you qualify for that low THC if you got cancer, but you got to be at the last stage. You got to be damn near dead before they give it to you. Why? Because the cancer folk, the oncologist folk, got to make money off you, baby. They got to do the radiation. They got to do the chemotherapy. They got to sell you them boost milkshakes and shit. They got to sell you everything, and you watch your loved one become smaller and smaller and smaller. And then the next thing you know, they ain't got no sex life. They barely holding on to life. And after they done did everything to kill you, because you're not supposed to be microwaving a human being. I don't know why they still think radiation is the answer when radiation only kills.
Yes.
But the plant will take and get rid of the cancer and the cancer only. But that's from other patents. I found too much knowledge. In fact, I filed 136 patents in my court case, showing where the government, big pharma, and all of them have lied. Because people will tell you in a heartbeat. During the Ronald Reagan administration, he ordered that all research on marijuana be destroyed. What they don't understand is rich people will never destroy that which protects their inventions. That's U.S. patents. They never destroy that what protects their claim.
You got a lot of here.
Okay. Hexahydrocannabinol. Eli Lilly and Company owns their version called Nabalone. And it's patented. You think they're going to let them patents be destroyed because Ronald Reagan say destroy all evidence of research? No way, Jose. So the evidence is there. They just know that you can't find it because y'all looking for THC. You're looking for marijuana. And they hid it under names like tetrahydro, the benzo BD5 rans, or hexahydro, the benzo BD5 rans. Oh, yeah. And they were busy through the 1970s and the 1980s and the 1990s. All the while, you got Reagan talking about marijuana is probably the most dangerous drug in the United States today. That line ain't well, anyway. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, I got you.
I done start ranting, and it ain't even time for me to rant.
Well, speaking of the
people, can the people see the rest of those conditions, though? I mean, I got to talking, and you took it off. They got some more conditions.
Oh, yeah, that's 111. Going back to 111. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 111.
111. I'm sorry. I got a little excited. I'm like, man.
Yes, sir.
Let me go ahead and share this one. Hold up, wrong one. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, share screen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is why the court would not even allow me to have a public defender. I had to proceed myself.
Okay, gotcha. Here we go.
That's right.
All
right. Undesired cellular. Now go up to the top so we can catch up on the top on the next column. Yeah, go on up. Go on up. And let's see what else they were saying.
Okay, at the top.
Okay, cellular apoptosis. Now what apoptosis is, that's when the cell dies. Some say kill itself. But apoptosis is the death of a cell. Then radiation sickness. God have mercy.
They treat
Is that why they had to have the Marinol?
Okay.
You know, because people get sick. Wait a minute. Go back down. Okay, you got it. And others. The present invention is believed to be particularly beneficial in the treatment of oxidative-associated disease of the central nervous system because of the ability of the cannabinoids to cross the blood-brain barrier and exert their antioxidant effects in the brain. In particular, embodiments. The pharmaceutical composition of the present invention is used for preventing, arresting, which means stopping, or treating, meaning you already got it, neurological damage in Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and HIV dementia. Autoimmune neurodegeneration of the type that can occur in encephalitis. Now, let me tell you what encephalitis is.
Yeah, what is that?
Encephalitis is when your liver done gone bad, either through cirrhosis or whatever. It's not filtering the blood the way it's supposed to. So a lot of the contaminants that's in the blood go through the liver and make its way back to the brain, causing all kinds of problems. Well, it's nice to know that this will take care of that. And hypoxic or anoxic neuronal damage that can result from apnea. You know how people say they got sleep apnea, they die in their sleep, choke, whatever, and they say they not getting enough oxygen. Well, what they're saying when they say hypoxic or anoxic neuronal damage means the damage done to the brain cell from them periods of no oxygen when they struggle to get their breath back with apnea. So these people don't have to be wearing all these damn masks on their face. They can blow one. Smoke them one. If you don't want to smoke it, grow your own cannabis, make your own cannabis butter, make your own edibles and eat it. It's free and it don't cost as much and you know what's in it. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. And let me see. Damn, that can result from apnea, respiratory arrest, or cardiac arrest. They just give it other conditions that can cause your cells to be deprived of oxygen, and it'll take care of all the damage, help fix it. And anoxia caused by drowning. You know how people drown, they have to bring them on the beach, and they start working their arms and stuff, and then they start coughing up.
Yeah.
Most times they say if they've been like that for 5 minutes to 8 minutes, they got irreversible brain damage. That's a lie. You can reverse it. That plant and that synthetic THC, which is based off of the real plant, that's why they don't want us to have it, can reverse the damage done to these people. They don't have to live their life like a plant. Only a sick government would allow people to go around hurting when they know the answer. They know how to help these people. Anyway, by drowning, brain surgery, or trauma, such as concussion or spinal cord shock. Now, we're going to stop right there, and I'm going to let you ask me another question, because I get busy on this stuff.
Oh, look, I'm telling you, I see straight from the boot had already said, what? No CPAP? It's like, no CPAP. So I'm just
That's
like,
right. They know it. I didn't make it up. They got it. The government know it. They filed that patent in 1999. Way before anybody was talking about a legal state and nobody was talking about CBD. CBD didn't enter the fray until Raphael Mechoulam started experimenting around 2010. And the only reason he started experimenting with CBD is because he got fed up with the U.S. government. Every time he did something to help people, the government shitted on it. They shitted on it. So he was always like, I don't know what I got to do. I'm trying to help people, children, and they keep saying, well, they get high. So Raphael Mechoulam finally made a synthetic THC called HU211 that wouldn't even get people high and would still heal them. And the government still wouldn't put it on the market. That's when the man say, the hell with the United States government. And I'm going to start working with CBD because you know they got them under all kind of non-disclosure agreements.
Yes.
You don't get grants from the United States government without them owning your tongue, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Only good thing about me dying is I don't care. I'd rather die and be a hero in my children and grandchildren's eyes than be a coward and just die for nothing. Knowledge should not die with people. Everything CBD can do, which is a lot, THC can do and more. And the government knows it, whether these so-called legislators know it or not, and just parroting what they've been told, because they don't like to read. None of them like to read. They like to pass bills, but they don't like to read.
Yeah. Speaking of passing bills, Mr. Nathan, what they did, I know this is not on the run of show. However, right now we're calling for the governor to veto SB 494 because they pulled a fast one on Thursday. You know, basically, yeah, and you know, I shared that with you earlier. I shared the article with you.
Well, share it with the audience.
Mr. Nathan, I didn't get a chance to pull it up, but I thank you. I'm going to share it with the audience.
We might as well give them the 1-2 punch. We ain't afraid of the Georgia General Assembly.
Yeah, because I know Aviva, she even made a video about that too. Hold on one second. I'm pulling up the article now. I know that she did a breakdown of what was going on with yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Hold on. Let me find it over here. Yeah, because basically they took the bill that was tabled 1322 because we were going up there advocating and testifying and stuff, and it was like, oh great, we was able to work together, all the people who came out to testify, to give them something to talk back about. And what happened was I knew something was up. I was talking to Christina because I was like, why is the council not willing to want to talk afterwards? Usually they want to talk afterwards or whatever. It was her and it was the council for the Georgia Cannabis Commissioner. And I was like, hey, I wanted to talk to you. And they was round the corner over there. And I said, wait a minute, something ain't right. But then I walked around there. They went going down the way. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to bother trying to address them. So evidently they don't really want to talk. So I was like, okay, I know they had something up their sleeve. So I knew when they tabled the bill, I didn't want to get too happy because I'm like, wait a minute, they up to something. And sure enough, they were.
Well, tell us some of the things that they got in that bill that the people don't know about that's waiting on this low THC oil. Tell us something about what they did to that bill that's low down.
They did some low down stuff. I'm pulling up my notes now because hold on one second. I'm pulling it up now. I got it right here. Share this screen right here. This is the wrong one. But yeah, tell me some more because I'm coming to it right here. I'm trying to get to it. I got so many daggum things I was working on episode 2.
All right. Well, I'll talk while you there, and I'll tell the people what happens. And we were talking about my current health conditions.
I'm about to pull it up. Yeah, I got you.
Before my arrest, the only condition that I had been told I had was deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary emboli, which never came back. Okay. Even the VA couldn't find them nowhere. When they was looking for them, they couldn't find them. I'm still smoking local, whatever you can get marijuana, if you know. Okay. Take my chances with whatever you can get marijuana, which now that I look back, is very dangerous. I don't even know why, but I guess we've been trained to just take marijuana from wherever we can get it, that we'll take the chance. Well, like I say, I only had those 2 illnesses. After I got arrested on February the 13th, 2019, and stopped using marijuana altogether, I developed peripheral arterial disease in 2020, and in 2021, those blood clot DVTs and pulmonary embolism hit me with a vengeance. You see, what the government won't tell you is the metabolites, the stuff they bust us for when they do a urine test.
Yes,
it's protecting our bodies as long as it's still in our system. We be trying to get it out of our system as quick as possible. Boy, I done smoked me some weed. I gotta get rid of this stuff. Want to flush it out, but it don't want to come out. That's because the body is using it to help fight cancers, diabetes, the whole 9 yards. But don't think if you smoke one joint, during 1 week, it's gonna do some protection. You gotta use cannabis on a daily, several times a day basis. You have to treat it like big pharma's dope. And the only way you can afford it, because you can't afford it when they put all these taxes on it. State trying to be a profiteer. They trying to be in the so-called black market. I call it the underground. They trying to be just as criminal as the criminal element. They want to make all kinds of money off of this plant. Well, the only way that the people who are really sick, age-related illnesses, and on fixed income can have a chance at being able to treat their own condition is they got to be allowed to grow their own. Yeah. Then they know what they putting in their medicine. To me, I call the plant food. The reason I call it food is anything I put down my mouth is food.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if I put you in my mouth and I swallow you, you food. And when you think about it, food does have medicinal properties.
It does.
Stop eating and see, don't you start having aches and pains and you getting weak.
Yeah.
Stop drinking that water and see what happens. You shut down. But you gotta eat to be healthy. So true. Food is medicine. And cannabis is no different. It is a food that has medicinal properties. Now, I was gonna tell them what happened after my arrest.
Okay.
After I got those DVTs and PEs to come back with a vengeance in 2021, I finally, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't no fool. The federal government said in the Agriculture Improvement Act, signed by President Donald Trump on December the 20th, 2018, that hemp is not marijuana. So I decided I'm gonna get me some of that good hemp. You can't get it from Georgia, so I got me some of that Colorado hemp. Okay. And I checked the people out, and they seem like they care about how they grow their hemp. And I was using it, as I told my doctor that's she a vascular surgeon who wanted to put a stent in my leg when I had PAD. She's like, your leg's so bad, Mr. Johnson, I need to put a stent in it right now. And the reason she said it was so bad, and this is out of Anderson Heart and Vascular. She said, Mr. Johnson, your left popliteal arterial pressure is 0. 0 pressure. And your central femoral artery pressure is only 26.9. The pressure is supposed to be up around 160. But they so far down, she didn't even know how I walked in there with a smile. Because I'm using me some hemp. Why did I want the hemp? Because my studies showed me that cannabidiol, CBD, is a great vasodilator. Now, what do I mean by vasodilator? It will make the arteries and veins expand. If they expand, I can start to get blood flow. I just got to start walking. It was while I was walking it, done got up to like 10 times around my house feeling good, that I brought on the DDTs and the Ps. Oh. You see, CBD is a vasodilator. THC is a dissolver of neoplasms, meaning tumor, cancer, or blood clots. It grab hold to a DVT blood clot and it dissolves it.
Okay.
Now, what's so good about that? THC, if it dissolved the blood clot, well, ain't if I had to go on and prove that, that's coming later, but it dissolved the blood clot without stopping the natural coagulation of the body. So if I'm using cannabis THC, I don't have to worry about blood clots. And if I get a cut, like in a car accident or something, I don't have to worry about bleeding out like we do with big pharma drugs that thin your blood. And when you need it to coagulate to stop bleeding, it won't. Like Eliquis that I'm taking now. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of dope from the VA today. They sent me a whole bag full of dope. And they don't mind sending it to me because it's FDA approved. Ain't that something?
And they have all those lawsuits and stuff like that they have with the FDA. You think about with the military, you know how they have like the military contracts. Think about this. It's a war on cannabis anyway. If it's a war on cannabis, then there has to be the military contracts for that too. If you think about how the medications and stuff that they are prescribing to the vets. So basically, it's a continual process. You end up going to war when you go to the military, and then when you leave the military, you're still fighting for your life because they still have other contracts with other pharmaceutical companies. That's how I see it. So I'm just like, this is crazy, and they want to keep everybody locked up under control by pharmaceuticals, tobacco, without cannabis. I'm sorry, yeah, alcohol, tobacco, and pharmaceuticals. Not only that, you got to think about the fact, even here in Georgia, they push the fact they want to go ahead and worry about passing the gambling bill, which I do believe passed. So they're more concerned about gambling and adding on to other people's condition and addictions to gambling over trying to, for people to be healed. So
I'm gonna tell you more about what you talking about in my rant when I get ready to rant. But let me finish this so we can get to the next question.
I got you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got you.
All right. June 30th of 2022. The judge denied me from telling the jury why I even grew my plants from 2016 to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And how it healed me. The VA was still doing my laboratories. They were still doing MRI. They were doing all kinds of tests. They continue to do tests as long as they believe you taking a dope.
Yeah.
But you tell them you ain't taking a dope, then they won't do nothing because they gotta say they treating you for something.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the racket. You gotta be treated for something. So for those 3 years that I wasn't using synthetic drugs of any type, I just used cannabis that I was growing. Strain that was supposedly the strongest strains on earth. I did a lot of research, just like I did research into all these patents. I found out which one of those seed banks are reputable, reliable. You can trust them. And I did my best to grow to the best of my ability, which the Lord God, thank him, stepped in, touched me on how to grow it, which is a slight bit different from how everybody else is growing it that's mass producing it.
Okay.
They forgot about what the plant needs, and they start worrying about a whole lot of things that they could easily fit that I'm not going to go into now, but I will tell you this. They say sudden Wilk syndrome don't have a cure. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The Lord helped me to find out the cure for sudden Wilk syndrome. That's a condition that strikes primarily in hydroponics.
Okay.
I grow hydroponically. Okay. And as I was saying once before, I grow hydroponically because I can control the heavy metals. If I don't put the heavy metals in the water with the nutrient, ain't no way my plants can have heavy metals. So the government can go with that. Oh, you get heavy metals. You ain't going to get no heavy metals if you grow it yourself. And these senior citizens can easily learn how to grow hydroponically. Or they can get some soil that's been sterilized. Don't have heavy metals in it if they want to grow in soil. Okay. Either way, it's our constitutional right to grow. But moving on, when they convicted me, I thanked the jury. I told them to basically, in so many words, if you look at my transcript, if they ever get it,
okay,
I basically told the jury to do their duty based on the information that was brought to their attention, which a lot of mine include, well, all of my exhibits were suppressed. You know, the judge upheld everything the DA said, so all of mine was suppressed. And even though I can make a fool out of that so-called expert of theirs, supposed to be a narcotic and marijuana expert, I made a fool out of him on the stand, but I'd rather wait so folks can see the actual court transcript so they can laugh. So after I done told the jury to basically do their constitutional duty and just don't have no sympathy for this 60-some-year-old man in front of you, just go by what the facts say. Do your duty. Well, when they came back, the foreman for the jury, she was smiling when they said they found me guilty on both charges. Well, I was in there for 3 charges.
Okay.
Manufacture of marijuana, possession with intent to distribute, and this thing about having tetrahydrocannabinol in substance with no morphological features of the plant, cannabis, right? Well, they had to drop that one because I told this stupid DA that, look, there is no way you're going to prove today that I have a way to make synthetic THC, which I do not, and I would not, even if I knew how to make it, I wouldn't.
Okay.
And I have no equipment to extract pure THC from the plants. And that law was basically designed, that statute was basically designed for people who are moving synthetic THC, not for the natural THC from the plant. Because as we know, the definition of the plant marijuana at the time I was arrested said that all parts of the plant of the genus cannabis, including its resin, is marijuana. So that means that the resin, which has THC in it, CBD, CBG, CBN, go on with it, all of that is considered marijuana, not tetrahydrocannabinol. That's only for synthetic. Okay. I can only imagine how many innocent people have been, you know, they don't had that charge added to them when they try to stack these charges on people. All right. They try to stack it to make you plea bargain. In fact, they had that same charge on me twice originally. I had 4 charges, and 2 of them was what was for synthetic, which I never did. So he dropped that one during court.
Okay.
So I had, excuse me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on.
No problem. I'll go ahead and pull you out. You want me to pull you out for a second? All right, stand by, y'all. For the time being, I'll go ahead and put something on for just a second while he take his break. Hold on, let me see. Let me pull him out. Oh, he's back.
Oh yes, I'm back. It was just a momentary thing. Okay. So here we are. I'm convicted. I thank the jury for doing their duty, which they were shocked. I told them all, don't you feel bad. Have a good, safe drive home. And the Lord and I thank you. I mean, really?
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, they sent me to prison.
Oh, wow.
They sent me to prison, and they decided that they weren't even going to give me anticoagulants at first. First I went to jail at the Hart County Sheriff Office. They didn't even want to give me anticoagulants. And when they did give it to me, instead of my Eliquis, they put me back on WASP, the rat poison.
Okay.
All right. So I goes to Jackson State Prison. Happened to be there when they have a ride on August the 20th, 2022. I'm in E Block. They set the damn thing on fire.
Oh,
the inmates got upset and set it on fire. Smoke was everywhere. I'm in my cell. I done wet a towel, wrapped it around my face like they taught me in the Navy, and I'm saying to myself, I guess I'm finna die, Lord. I guess I'm finna die. Some good old inmates broke the windows out so that the air could come in and the smoke could go out. I survived. That's one of my PTSD. That's when my PTSD developed. Because I ain't got no cannabis to keep the PTSD down. So I'm reliving this thing over and over again. That's traumatic.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm in prison, they suddenly say my PSA done went up to 20. Anybody got prostate cancer or know about prostate cancer know that the normal range is 0 to 4. And St. Mary Hospital, when I had those pulmonary embolisms and DVTs in 2021, did a full lab, and my PSA was 4. But the following year, my PSA, when I'm in the prison system, is 20. So they want to do a biopsy. They did a biopsy at Chris Regional Hospital down South Georgia. And they said, I got prostate cancer. And they going to see if the state will pay for them to put radioactive pellets in my prostate.
Oh.
I told them, I said, the only way I'm going to let y'all do that, y'all going to have to give me some Marinol.
Okay.
That ended the whole conversation. They were like, I ain't giving you no Marinol. Yeah, I know what it is. It's synthetic delta-9 THC. Dronabinol is the active ingredient. So they say, nah, they wasn't going to give me none of that. And then after I got out, now all while I'm in prison, they doing lab. I don't have diabetes, but once I get out and let the VA do a full lab panel, suddenly I'm no longer borderline like the good cannabis used to keep me. And I'm an abuser. I mean, I drink sodas, I eat candy. Cannabis kept me while I was always borderline, what they call pre-diabetic. It used to keep me in the safe zone. You know, it's waiting to get me. Mm-hmm. But the cannabis is saying, no, not today, baby. You're going to stay where you at. Well, they say I got diabetes. So when you say about my current conditions, before my arrest, I just had DVTs and PEs that were being handled by the plant. Mm-hmm. After I stopped using cannabis with a high amount of THC, I developed PAD, and continuing on to prison where I had access to neither cannabis marijuana or cannabis hemp. I got no cannabis. I developed prostate cancer. I developed eventually diabetes, all the conditions that the United States government already know that plant and those particular cannabinoids can treat. So I just want to go through that so they understand that cannabis, the plant, didn't give me all these illnesses. It's the lack of the cannabis plant that has me with all these illnesses. Now, anything else you want to talk about? I'm ready.
Oh, look, no, since you're talking about the reason why they want to keep things locked up, I did find that other piece, but I want to continue with this because I'm like, you know, getting your story out is the main purpose of this particular episode. You get your story out, and your story is kind of parallel with what they're doing to so many patients right now as far as trying to lock down. I know it's the synthetic form of THC here in Georgia because a lot of people do not qualify with the few conditions that are on the low dose THC registry to, you know, obtain the medical cannabis card, the low dose THC card. And like you said, lab rat, you know, a lot of us feel like we're lab rats because since they opened up the dispensaries, we've had, well, me and my wife had multiple versions of the product because they don't even have it together. I would prefer to have my own to where I can grow it or have someone grow it for me. So I would prefer that because, you know, everybody like to eat at home a lot of times. You prefer to have something that you prepared. I want to know where it came from. And I know I can't, you know, go outside and look and see if I got a hog or a cow outside like that. Just saying, you know, I would prefer to know. I mean, I know they use the argument, well, do you have to ask people where did this come from and where did that come from? You just go ahead and take it. No, when it comes to putting that in my body, allow me to decide what I want instead of keeping this plant illegal. So, well, yeah, speaking of keeping this plant illegal, let's talk about our friend, Mr. Harry Anslinger, Marijuana Tax Act.
All right.
So we good with that? Or we need to go to another question. Let me know.
Just go to another question, and we'll get to Harry in a little bit.
Okay, we get to Harry. Go closer to your rant. Okay.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. So, as far as challenging the legal system, as far as your court, because a lot of people, I know we have the petition going around now to justice for Nathan Johnson. We have that going around, and people, thank you all who signed the petition and continue to share the information, because they're wondering, well, how are you out? So you're out of jail, out of prison now, and tell us more about, why are you out? If we're still trying to fight for justice for you, because I know that you're getting ready to challenge. Is it okay to ask this question? Challenging the Constitution?
I hope to be able to challenge it.
Okay.
I mean, at my last court case, the Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr did show up.
Okay.
And that was one heck of a motion hearing. I asked for a copy of it. I'm still waiting on that copy. They won't give it to me. But it was at that point, I believe they decided that they're going to pull all the legal shenanigans they can to keep me from talking.
Especially with these patents, because to actually see it, you were right. Mr. Nathan, I had to, I mean, I believe what you said, but I actually see it. And like I said,
I got plenty of them.
We're gonna make it readily available for people to, we'll put it on the website.
I got patents where the National Institute of Drug Abuse done put the money behind these researchers and found out that THC metabolites can take care and treat everything from blood clots to cancer. It goes on and on. And what do they do? Well, that's moving on. Okay, what was the question you wanted to ask me?
Well,
was it about me being a lab rat?
Yeah, but that was the one about, how did you get to be the lab rat? But I know we're gonna go ahead and move it. We can go ahead and move on closer to your rant and stuff like that. We can move to close to the rant because we at the 122 mark. Yeah, because
let me say this right quick, and it'll be real quick.
No problem. Take your time.
The reason I call myself the lab rat in short is because we all are lab rats for big pharma's experimentation.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society where we only have two choices when it comes to our medical usage.
Okay.
It's use big pharma synthetic dope or die. Right now, I'm risking death so that the people know we got to push to be able to use the plant natural. And it ain't just marijuana. There's a lot of natural plants they done took away from us that were not dangerous until big pharma started extracting the active ingredient.
Yeah.
Nobody died from the opium poppy if you smoked it. Big pharma decided to make it into a pill or inject it. That is not the way to take it. You smoke opium to kill your pain. You will go to sleep long before your bodily organs shut down.
Okay.
When you take it internally, you have to either wait. If you take it in a pill form, you got to wait for the effects, which can overload your system. You cannot titrate. You cannot control it. It hits you all at once, and it can kill you. Plus, you don't know what's in it. And then when you do put it into a liquid form, well, you got to put something in it.
Okay.
Straight heroin will not by itself become liquefied enough to go into you. They have to add a substance to it. And when they put it in your vein, you don't know the purity. You don't know if your system can tolerate it. Some people can take a shot and live.
Okay.
Others can take that same shot and die due to tolerance levels. But nobody ever died from smoking it. They laid down and went to sleep way before they could die. But that's another case. That means you could have been growing natural painkiller. But anyway, the lab rat is because of this. As I possibly already told you. When I decided on January the 1st, 2016, that I was going to grow my own plants.
Okay.
And stop using synthetic drugs, I declared that right then and there, I was through being big pharma's lab rat for synthetic dope. I'm finna be the lab rat for natural medicine of our good Lord God above.
All right.
Even if it kill me, I'm gonna see if the government been lying or what. I got all these patents and documents, but somebody got to be the test subject.
Okay.
Might as well be me. I've been smoking since I was 13. I'm used to it. I'm what they call a long-term user.
Okay.
So if I gotta use a medication, I choose that medication. I know about it. I'm familiar with it. I can titrate myself. And there's no way I can overdose on it. The government know that too, but they won't tell nobody. You cannot overdose using cannabis, period.
Now, you might
That's
feel
taking care why I'm the lab rat. Now I'm through.
You're talking about the lab rat, but you're talking about the overdosing and stuff like that. I've been making some slight mistakes with my meds, from the dispensary, because I don't know. They give you like these little lozenges and stuff like that, and you don't know exactly how much is in there, and like each one affects me differently, and it's crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm like, get used to taking one. And then next thing you know, I'm over here looping, my eyes are closed, or I don't feel anything as far as my pain and stuff. Or then I mess around, I take two. It's like it's no consistency. At least I know when I get the natural plant how I'm gonna react to it, because I know, okay, yeah, if I know if I'm gonna smoke this time of day, consistently, kind of sort of, instead of just allowing your body to reset. If I keep everything consistent, then I'm able to function, because I can tell when I don't take my meds. I'm irritated. Road rage is back. Oh my God, I had terrible road rage. It cured my road rage. Even stuff from the dispensary doesn't have that same effect. So I get you when it comes to that right there. But we're going to go to the next question right here, moving to a broader perspective.
Okay.
Could you give us the overview of the major legal shifts surrounding cannabis, starting with the Marijuana Tax Act? So we did that question.
All right. First of all,
I'm going to pull that one up too.
They have never, ever found anything wrong with cannabis to justify the Marijuana Tax Act. To be real with you, my research took me all the way back to 1865.
I just saw that one.
In 1865, this agricultural commissioner named Isaac Newton, not to be confused with the physicist, Sir Isaac Newton, but there was an agricultural commissioner, and he was tasked in 1863 with finding out if flax and hemp could be a substitute for cotton. Okay. The reason being, cotton had made the southern states richer than the northern states, because cotton would only grow in temperate areas that the North couldn't provide. So they were looking while the Civil War was going on in 1863, Isaac Newton was commissioned to find out if flax and hemp could substitute for cotton. Now, whether people know it or not, at the end of the Civil War, the Confederates with money didn't sit here in Georgia and Alabama and North Carolina. You get the picture? They ran like hell with their money. A lot of them ran to Mexico and started their own little enclaves or enclaves, which is a country within a country. In other words, they still speak in English. They got English newspapers, English-speaking newspapers. Some went to Europe, some went to Japan, some went to South America. They ran everywhere. They didn't want to be under the Yankees' control after the Civil War. Well, when they went to Mexico, the main idea was that they were going to start a new Dixie there, bump the U.S. They going to make them a new Dixie in Mexico, and they needed to clear the land, and they were going to grow cotton. Okay. Now, as time went on, we find out that the first mentioning of marijuana in newspapers didn't happen until 1887. Gotcha. And it came from a magazine or a newspaper out of Mexico City. And it was an English newspaper talking about negative effects of marijuana.
Okay.
They had this guy named Jimenez. He shot up everybody after he got high on some marijuana cigarettes. They like, oh, that's where they first started. Now, I could take you through a lot of that, but I'm not, because you all have no idea how much research I'm. So I'm going to stop right there and just shift it to this.
Okay.
The negative information about marijuana originated with those Confederates that fled the United States after the Civil War, and those newspapers started leaking into the Confederate newspaper, or the newspaper of the southern states. And they're leaking it because they now know that the king is under attack. When I say the king, I'm talking about King Cotton.
That's right. It could replace Cotton.
And what Isaac Newton told them was this: hemp could easily replace cotton if they could just develop a machine like they did for the cotton, that cotton gin. That cotton gin made it where America went from exporting about 5,000 bales of cotton to 400,000 bales of cotton every year. That machine. So Isaac Newton let them know that if they come up with a machine that can break the stalks of the hemp, because that's what the hard work was, breaking them stalks to get the fiber off of it. If they ever come up with a gin for hemp, hemp can surpass cotton, and it is wanted and more desirable, is stronger. Everything was in hemp's favor. The Confederates down in Mexico, still in contact with the Confederates who lost in America, was trying to sabotage that plant. They came up with a whole lot of news story about men taking one puff of marijuana, grabbing a knife, trying to stab their wife. Oh, man. Oh, they had a story about one guy. He went into what we would call a DFAT type operation in Mexico City, right? He thought he was King Herod from the Bible. He had a knife in his hand, and all these women was there with their little infant babies trying to get them registered. And he said he King Herod, and he here to kill all the male babies. And the mamas was screaming and hollering and, oh, Lord, help me, help me, help me. And then the police came, and they chased him through the streets, and they finally had to kill him. But that's what marijuana, they found out that he was on that marijuana. And the stories just get crazy and crazy. I got plenty of them. I done researched and I done saved them. I put it on your stick. But anyway,
we
get up to the Marijuana Tax Act. Now, all this time, nobody gave a heck about marijuana in the federal government. They didn't care, because they know they was BS. Them good old boys been smoking weed. And for these folk that be talking about American hemp is different from that cannabis indica from India, let me educate y'all on something. During that time, there was a person called Eli Lilly, and they partnered with this group called Parker Davis. Now, Parker Davis created the strain of THC marijuana that was high enough to compete against any marijuana from India. And Eli Lilly grew it for Parker Davis, and they call it cannabis americana. You heard of cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, cannabis ruderalis? They don't tell you. They used to have a cannabis called cannabis americana.
Cannabis americana.
Gotcha. Americana. And it was rated by Eli Lilly to say it meets or exceeds the strength of the cannabis indica coming from India. And they was growing it in the United States. Now I'm gonna tell you something about the plant cannabis. It is a wind-pollinated plant. I mean, it don't wait for no bumblebee or yellow jacket to land on it or a honeybee and spread the pollen over to the pistils of the female. The wind does it. Now, before I make this point I'm finna make, I want you to think about something that happened in America a few years ago. There was a big dust storm that came all the way from the Sahara Desert in Africa and blocked the sun in Texas. Anybody remember that?
I remember that.
Actually left Africa, came all the way to the United States on the wind and blocked the sun. Well, if the wind can do that with dust or dirt, imagine what it can do with pollen from Cannabis americana. The wind blowing it around, that pollen, it land on your regular American hemp. It ain't regular American hemp no more. They always talking about hemp is 0.3% THC or less. Now that they got hit by Cannabis americana and you planted them seeds again, it ain't the same thing no more. So anyway, nobody had a problem with it. We get to the Marijuana Tax Act. Here you got a situation. I'm not going to go into all the details because you got 1,800 people want to tell you about the Marijuana Tax Act, but I'm going to tell you something they don't tell you. All right? This is something that is good for every advocate to know that want to go to the Capitol so they don't feel bad when the General Assembly screw them.
Oh my God.
Even though Harry Anslinger and his boys went in there under Robert Dalton's bill, pushed by the Secretary of the Treasury, Mr. Mellon, even though they went in there and they tried to make a bill that was prohibitively impossible for the average person to pay. In other words, we want to make a tax that the average person cannot pay.
Yeah.
Or we want to make it to where it would identify them as a member of a criminal organization, somebody suspected of criminal activity. Well, they had to make it look real for the hearings. You know, they had these committee hearings. They made it look good. They made it look like the physicians, the dentists, the veterinarians, the surgeons who regularly use cannabis or marijuana or hemp, whatever you want to call it. I like it better like Dr. Wood would say. Just call it cannabis in your papers. Don't call it marijuana. Don't nobody know marijuana. Well, it's cannabis. All right. It was being used. Folks don't know. It already had medical history. So they had to make it look, as everybody know, they gave, if you was a doctor that prescribed it, you only had to pay an annual tax fee of $1 a year. If you was a dealer, $3 a year. If you was a producer. See, they knew the difference between a producer and a manufacturer inside the Marijuana Tax Act. If you was a producer, somebody that grew the marijuana, you paid $25 a year. If you was somebody that manufactured, meaning you processed it, then you paid $50 a year. You see?
Gotcha.
So
same thing they do
on the surface, everything looked kind of good, right? And once they passed the bill, though, and signed the act, it was different. And I'm going to tell you what was different. Because you're going to hear all these folks say, well, it was unconstitutional and it made it illegal because you couldn't get a stamp unless you brought them the marijuana. And if you brought them the marijuana without a stamp, then they found you guilty, catch 22, you know. What really got it was this here. The federal act, the Marijuana Tax Act, that told these doctors, physicians, and anybody who wanted to manufacture varnish or use bird seed or whatever you want to do with it. After they done made these people comply with where you got it from, how much you bought, and who you sent it to, or whatever, all this paper keeping, you know, all this record keeping, even if they comply with all that, they snuck a provision in that wasn't in the one that went before Congress. And this is what it said, that any officer of the law, not just federal, state, county, city, local, can come to these doctors and ask to see their records.
Yep.
And by federal law, you must show it to them. But here's the kicker. Federal law will not protect your ass from state law, county law, city law. So let's say all the states got marijuana illegal, right?
Yeah.
And the federal government saying, if you comply with the federal marijuana tax act, keep all these records, you're thinking you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But in essence, you got to show any law enforcement officer that coming out. They even had a group called the Bug and Pest group from the federal government. They asked to see your record. They had anybody looking at their record.
That's crazy.
If they came in there and you gave them records, you had to give it to them. Mm-hmm. If you didn't give them those records, you in violation of federal law. You get 5 years in prison, $2,500 fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't show it to these locals. And then the locals use what you showed them as the evidence to put your ass in prison. Because the way they put this little provision in there, hey, this act does not protect you from state, county, and city and local law.
That's confusing. That is crazy.
It ain't confusing. They just saying, you touch that damn plant if you want to. If the feds, we don't get you, the state will. That's how it works. And then Mr. Anslinger went ahead and added something in the Act of 39, Act of 1939. That's all it was called. It was called seizures. Contraband seizure. And yes, they was talking about the contraband marijuana. I got all that research. Everything I tell you, by the way, in the audience, is written down.
Mm-hmm.
It's government document. I didn't file anything from Marijuana Moment, High Time, any of them little old magazines. I filed the actual documents or a copy of the actual documents. In and with .gov. Okay. I became very close to the people at the United States Archive. Yes, baby. You want it? You got to go to where it's at. It's at the archives. You just have to know what you're asking for. So anyway, they did all that. And that's what ended as far as marijuana usage under the Marijuana Tax Act. I stopped right there.
Yeah. So I guess since we got right there, I know about we'll do the pharmacopedia and all that other stuff, 1950 something, but
it was 1850, cannabis was entered into the U.S. pharmacopoeia.
Yeah, I was talking about when they removed it. And what was it, 1959 or something like that? Before I say, but I got this one up here about the lyric, because I thought that's where you were leading to when you were talking.
Lyric. Wait a minute, you said Marijuana Tax Act.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm moving along. Okay. I'm sorry. Gotcha.
Let me tell you what happened with Leary. The basic premise behind Leary. When the Supreme Court did this case with Marchetti, Grosso, and Haynes, this case came up when Leary had already been found guilty by a Texas court, and he was already in prison. Well, in the case of Marchetti, Grosso, and Gaines, it basically worked like this. The Supreme Court held that one of them was a gambler.
Mm-hmm.
And he made money gambling. The state held that he did not pay his taxes. You know, they weren't paying their taxes on their gambling earnings, their winnings.
Mm-hmm.
And these individuals brought before the court, the Supreme Court, that if they had come to the state to try to pay the tax, they were afraid, here's the key word, afraid, that they would be incriminating themselves by mentioning that it was from gambling, which the state held was illegal. Mm-hmm. In other words, if I pay the tax, I got to tell them I'm a gambler. And gambling is illegal. Mm-hmm. And it's a violation of my Fifth Amendment right to have to do self-incrimination. And that's what I would be doing. So the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Marchetti, Grosso, and Haynes that yes, you're right. There is an inherent fear that if you was to have gone and tried to pay those taxes, you would be suspected of criminal activity that could have landed you in prison, and you had every right not to tell the state and incriminate yourself under the Constitution, Fifth Amendment. And they reversed the charge. Well, Leary heard about that while he was in prison. Leary like, wait a minute, whoa. Hey, Supreme Court, look, I'm in prison because they got me on this marijuana tax act stuff, talking about I'm a trafficker. Now, look, this is what happened. I left New York with my son and my daughter and two friends, and we drove all the way from New York. We were going to Mexico, and we left through Texas. For some reason, nobody has ever explained, Leary's car was turned around at the Mexican checkpoint. Mm-hmm. So when he came back through customs on the Texas side, one of the, what do you call them?
Federales.
What do you call the folks that custom border officer? Yeah.
Gotcha.
He gonna look in the car and say he believe he saw a marijuana seed on the floor.
Out of all the seeds.
Yeah, he saw a marijuana seed on the floor. So he told him, he said, look, y'all, everybody got to get up out the car, which they agreed to do for a search. He patted them all down. Now, he didn't find no marijuana on Timothy Leary. Okay. He found he found marijuana in a silver snuff box on Timothy Leary's daughter.
Okay.
All right. And they also say that the custom person found some pieces of marijuana inside the dashboard, you know, I guess where you're not too clean when you're rolling your junk and you get a little stuff dropped. He say he found some. Okay. Well, the Supreme Court looked at what Leary was saying. Leary was saying this. He say, look, Your Honor, I wanted to pay the taxes. Mm-hmm. But I was afraid to even ask for a form, a tax form, for fear that if I even asked for one, it would identify me as someone suspected of criminal activity. I got marijuana. Yeah, that's criminal. And he would be arrested. So the Supreme Court thought about that a minute, but that's not why the act was found unconstitutional. See, if you ever get a chance to read those hearing transcripts from the marijuana tax act, I think I gave you about 5 or 6 of them where they kept, reenacting and changing things.
Is there one particular you want me to bring up, or you good?
No, we good.
Okay.
I mean, if I brought up the first one, I'd just be showing them where it say the state can, the state has the power to put you in jail even if you in compliance with federal law.
Okay,
It's like,
gotcha.
what good is? But anyway, here go Timmy. The judges, they looked at it and they say, this is what's wrong with the Marijuana Tax Act. While y'all was scheming during the original hearings, Anslinger and the rest of them, y'all all scheming on how to get this act passed without the Supreme Court of the time finding that it was unconstitutional. You all put a provision in there that said that any unregistered person would have to pay a fine of $100 per ounce or fraction thereof. Yet, in the same act, y'all say if a person found with marijuana, you want to give them 5 years and $2,500 fine. Well, the laws don't work like that. Even if you write the law like that, that's called an unconstitutional official act. It seems official, like a lot of these Georgia marijuana laws. They look like they're official because they say they're official, but they ain't official because they contradict themselves. And that is what led the Supreme Court to find that the Marijuana Tax Act was unconstitutional. You can't say on one hand, the man can pay $100 per ounce and for a fraction thereof. And then on the other hand, you're just going to go around and give him 5 years in prison and charge him $2,500. Now, which one of these laws supposed to take place? See, it became what they call in the legalese, they call it arbitrary, meaning confusing on the way it's written. It's confusing. And since the Supreme Court, like all courts, are not supposed to rewrite laws, they are to decide if the law makes sense. Is it conflicting with itself? If it makes sense, all the federal courts can do and state courts supposed to do is say, okay, it makes sense, we leave it alone. If it's conflicting in any way, like in one place, THC is illegal no matter how much. Then in another place, you can have a 5% THC and the low THC. That's confusing as hell. That whole thing needs to be thrown away. They needed to rewrite the Controlled Substance Act. They don't want to rewrite it because they never wrote it. They just took it from what was passed in 1970, the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act. They took it from that. Now, when they took that, they had no idea what none of that meant. They don't know what derivatives mean. They don't know what analogs mean. They don't know what assaults mean. They just took it word for word. Because all they want to do is put people in jail for marijuana if they got marijuana. But anyway, so the Supreme Court said, because this thing is confusing and we cannot rewrite it to remedy it, the only remedy we have is to find that it is unconstitutional. You cannot write laws that are contradictory within itself. So because they can't rewrite it, they found it unconstitutional and they killed it. And that was in 1969, right before the Summer of Love. Damn! Everybody smoking weed. The rock bands are playing this on, baby. F the police. F. Richard Nixon. They shouldn't have said F. Richard Nixon because
you heard his feelings.
Richard Nixon is like Donald Trump. He real sensitive. You talking about F me? F me? Oh, we're gonna see F who? But yeah, that what happened in Leary. The Supreme Court looked at it, and even though it had been in effect for over 30 years, an unconstitutional law or act is not a law or act at all. And it dates all the way back to the time it was enabled. So that means everybody who had been arrested, charged, or anything in prison from 1937 had a civil case against the government. That's right. You put me in prison on an unjust, unconstitutional law. You took my farm. You took my property on an unjust law. You got to compensate me. Well, they ain't compensating nobody. The government don't believe in paying back. And if you think I'm lying, if you owe the IRS, they start compounding your interest daily. Shoot, you gonna hold our money? We gonna compound it daily. But if they owe you, shit, you ain't getting no interest like that. Hey, we'll just pay you what we owe you. Go ahead.
So basically, everybody needs to go ahead who's been convicted of a cannabis related, been convicted of cannabis should file a class action suit. So we need a Benjamin Trump.
Well, hold on. That's why they threw marijuana on that controlled substance.
Okay, gotcha. I was getting happy. I'm sorry.
They was afraid of that, so they said we gotta make marijuana illegal somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even though you're right, anybody who had been convicted, imprisoned, property stolen under the Marijuana Tax Act had a right to file a civil suit against the federal government. Even though they passed the 1970 Controlled Substances Act, that has nothing to do with what happened from 1937 up to 1970. But the government, they got over. They got over. Now, my thing that I want to challenge on as far as constitutionality comes from the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970. You see,
gotcha.
That very act that Georgia plagiarized and made they Controlled Substance Act, because if you look at what's written in that act of the federal government and look at what's in Georgia's Controlled Substance Act, at the time of my arrest, they basically word for word, right? Well, that was something that was done in that Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970 that nobody really likes to talk about. There was a part in Section F where they formed a commission to go find the truth out about marijuana and make legislative and administrative recommendations to Congress. Okay? The fact that it's an act means it's law. It's done past the House of Representatives. It's done past the Senate, and it's been signed by President Richard Milhouse Nixon. So it's a law. Now, Nixon knows that Congress is supposed to follow the recommendations of the commission. He knew so much that in an Oval Office meeting, he thought, Raymond P. Schaefer thought it was a private meeting between him and the president and stuff, but the president was taping it. You know about them tapes. And we've been able to hear those tapes. And he promised Raymond P. Schaefer a district court judgeship.
Okay.
If he just ignores some of the facts about marijuana that are different from other drugs. Well, Nixon thought he had Schaefer in his pocket. He didn't.
No.
Schaefer came out with a report in the book, Marijuana, A Signal of Misunderstanding, where they recommended that the home use of marijuana be legal. The home possession of marijuana be legal. The home gifting of marijuana within your home would be legal. And the selling of small amounts of marijuana for no remuneration, meaning for no profit, really, little or no profit, would not be illegal. It would still be legal to make it legal. And in public, if you had an ounce or less, it would be treated as contraband and the marijuana seized, but the person would be sent home. No arrest. If you had more than an ounce of marijuana in public, or you was out there gifting or selling small amounts of marijuana in public, you will be written a citation for $100 and allowed to go on your way like a traffic ticket. Now, it would have a court date on it. If you didn't show up for court, the Schaefer Commission say no bench warrant shall be issued. We are not going to issue a bench warrant for that person's arrest. Even if they were selling small amounts of marijuana and didn't show up for court, we're not going to fill the courtroom up with that, because marijuana doesn't rate that. This ain't heroin. This ain't the opioid. This is a plant that ain't gonna hurt nobody. They can't kill themselves. Our monies would be best used going after drugs that are easily synthesized, because that's what the mafia was doing. The mafia was pushing a lot of heroin, and then later cocaine came into the deal. So Schaefer and them was saying it would be better to put the money toward these synthetic drugs, as far as the war on drugs, where it can do the most good, and leave that soft drug marijuana alone. There's nothing in our research that show that it harms anybody. Not the fetus that's being carried, and the mother, meaning the baby is born. It might be a little light on the weight. It's not premature weight. Instead of weighing 10 or 12 pounds, killing your mama where the obstetrician got to cut her down there to get that head out doing crowning, it might be a 7-pound baby that go on and slip out, and that woman's thing is ready for work in a few days for the husband's pleasure. They found that mothers who use cannabis during pregnancy, they were their babies was mentally and physically okay. And that's a good point, because they even looked at brain damage. They found no evidence. That's not just Schaefer. That's the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare with the National Institute of Mental Health. They all saying marijuana does not cause brain damage. In fact, marijuana has been shown to help people regain memories that they had lost. Alzheimer's, you see where they going? Alzheimer's, it helps them to regain those memories that they have forgotten. So, just about not just about every lie they have ever told about marijuana was disproved by both the departments of our health as well as the commission. The only thing that they said that they had to keep from legalizing marijuana because of was long-term use. In other words, Schaefer Commission was proposing a discouragement program rather than a legalization or criminalization program. What you do behind closed doors is constitutional, is what Schaefer was saying. And all these people, Schaefer and all the people on there, are basically Republicans, except for a few, like one of the House of Representatives and one of the senators. But the rest are basically Republicans, and if they're not all Republicans, they were hand chosen by Nixon. So even if you're not a Republican, you were somebody that was favorable to what the Republican Nixon was trying to do, and that is knock the hell out of marijuana. We want to make it like Reagan finally did in the 80s, call it probably the most dangerous drug in the U.S. today.
Yeah.
All right. So my thing is, I want to call fraud because that commission used over $1,800,000 to do this research, and this money is taxpayers' money. Now, Nixon up there, when the results come out talking about, well, you know, I can't sign a law that say that marijuana is both legal and illegal. It don't make sense to me. Y'all know how I feel about marijuana. I don't like marijuana. I'm not going to sign. Now, here's where the fraud comes in. If you weren't going to sign and follow with what the recommendations were, Mr. President, you shouldn't have signed that law in the first place to have them to go look. But when you signed it, the law is above you now, Mr. President. You are subservient to the law. I know some people think presidents are above the law. No, they not. Even if he signed it in the law, he is not above following what the findings are, because that's what was wrote in that Controlled Substances Act. The fact that he refused to sign it and thus leave marijuana as a Schedule I drug, where at first it was just a misdemeanor. They put it on Schedule I as a misdemeanor because they didn't want to just say that, well, you know, we ain't got no strains on marijuana after the judge's decision in the Leary versus United States. They didn't want to just leave it out there. They said, we're going to make it where it's a misdemeanor, not a felony. And we need to find out from the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare the effects of marijuana on the user and on society. And when they got the results, they didn't want it. And when they got the results for this same thing from the Schaefer Commission, they didn't want to hear it. So when you done spent our money to go do this research, and then despite what the research say, you want to be contrary and not follow through, that's fraud.
That is fraud. That is fraud.
That's like if I got a 200-inch television set I want to put up for a raffle. And I tell people it's up for a raffle and everybody come and spend their money. And even when somebody win, I tell them they ain't going to get the damn TV. I think that'll be fraud.
That is fraud. That is fraud. He wanted to be trusted no way.
That's right. Fraud, you know, cancel out anything it's attached to. So that means that if it gets before the Supreme Court the right way, it can be gotten rid of as unconstitutional. Now, all we need is standing. And you can't have standing talking from a monetary perspective. You got these people that's making all this money in these legal states trying to be heard by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court tell them when they get up there with their high-priced lawyers, y'all don't have standing. Your losing a little money ain't standing. They don't consider that good enough. You representing who? But if you take somebody like the lab rat and say, look at all these conditions this man got. He say he has an injury in fact, which is the first part of standing. He say he can show a causation between the injury in fact and the conduct complained of, meaning the law saying he grew marijuana and he had possession with intent to distribute. And that's the second part. And the third part to have standing is that if a favorable decision is rendered by the Supreme Court, that it would redress the injury in fact. Meaning, if we find that the Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act of 1970 is unconstitutional, then, Mr. Johnson, for your sake, we will find that it no longer exists. Now, if the federal law don't exist no more, what's to stop these people in these legal states from putting their money in federal banks? Nothing. So, hint, hint to you legal state lawyers, look for somebody who got standing. Because, see, what I want now is the ultimate. This time when I grow cannabis, I want it approved by the Georgia General Assembly for test purposes. I want to grow it. I want to smoke it. I want to make my own edibles, and I want the hospitals to check my vitals and everything. And when this cancer is gone, and when this diabetes is gone, and when this PTSD is in check, and when the PAD is gone, and when there's no sign of DBT or PE anywhere in my body, and my so-called mild emphysema that I done had from 2013, even though I'm a chain smoker of tobacco cigarette. Come on, y'all. Do I sound like an emphysematic person?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because there's more to it. It's more to the story.
I got emphysema. I seen it.
Yeah.
They showed it to me. But they surprised when they put me on that machine at the Athens Pulmonary and Sleep Medicine that when I breathed into that breathing machine where they could test everything, I was over 97%. They say I'm normal. I don't need no inhalers. How can that be? And I've been chain smoking tobacco cigarettes since 13. I told you, the Mayo Clinic and Northside Hospital they put me through all kind of tests. I got those medical records. They couldn't understand it. All 10 bodily systems are operating normally, including pulmonary. Now, I'm gonna let you ask another question because I'm just talking on a little bit.
That's fine. No, look, hey, we good. I know we're gonna come back. But I know we can go ahead on with that one. Since you did the Schaefer, you talked about a little bit about Nixon, a little bit about Reagan. I know I got some inner questions in between, but yeah, we can come back. We can do another one later because, like I say, it's so much to building out this show because you're such a wealth of knowledge. We can go ahead and move to your rant. Before we do, I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with you since we already know who's the benefit by people being incarcerated by this plant, where people are still pleading to have more people arrested about this plant. You got the Sheriff's Association there. Then you have the private prison industry, where you have a lot of these MSOs that are actually invested in. And it's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna play this video right here. You tell me what you
place out there. I don't want state prisoners, okay? They are a necessary evil to keep the doors open, that we keep a few or keep some out there. And that's the ones that you can work. That's the ones that can pick up trash, the work release programs. But guess what? Those are the ones that they're releasing. In addition to the bad ones, and I call these bad, in addition to them, they're releasing some good ones that we use every day to wash cars, to change oil in our cars, to cook in the kitchen, to do all that where we save money.
And so with that right there being said, he said a lot. Now, I know he's talking about he don't want them to go to the state prison, but if you think about the nonviolent offenders are who? A lot of the people who have been convicted of cannabis. So a lot of the trustees, like I say, yeah, I'm an ex-correctional officer, and I know a lot of the trustees and stuff who had outside details in which the state benefits from outside details. You have inmates that were going to GSP, the Georgia State Patrol, to go clean up the buildings. They were going I think some of them went to the governor's mansion to clean up. And it's like they're benefiting from incarcerating people for this plant. And so if you have deemed me or classified me as a trustee because I committed a non-violent crime according to your laws, then why would you trust me with this cleaning supply in the governor's mansion, in the Georgia State Patrol office? Why would you trust me in these places? They're just using slave labor, in my opinion. You know,
13th Amendment. Let no man be a slave. Let he first be, made into a criminal.
Exactly. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to close on out in just a second. So we're going to your rant. So Unc Thunder. Who is Unc Thunder. Who is
I'm
Thunder?
the Naughty Saint on there.
You the Naughty Saint. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That was back in the days when I was researching the laws of the Old Testament as an atheist. See, I'm a man of science. I told y'all my background. I'm chemistry, biology, physics. 2 plus 2 plus wait a minute, let me get my tongue right. 2 plus 2 is supposed to equal 4. I believe in logic. I did not believe in creation stories, even though I was forced to go to church and stuff, right? But when I started reading them laws given unto Moses with a dictionary, okay, so I can understand what some of them words mean instead of just reading over them, I realized that, I know they say, you ain't supposed to read it like it's in secret. Well, the way they got it wrote, the Lord was giving a whole lot of blessings to the people. Blessings that weren't being taught to us. Yeah, we all heard, oh, if you steal something, they cut off your hand and this and that. They hit you with a rock and they stone you to death. Well, if you read, you did something worth being stoned to death, didn't you? You see, the Lord has never in the law said he condoned, or the Lord condoned, I don't want to say a gender because I don't know if the Lord, male, female, or just is, as he say, I am what I am, you know? I'm over here talking about a he. I don't know what the Lord is. But anyway, the Lord is not pushing a bunch of crap on us. The Lord is saying, I do not believe in prisons. So if a person has done a crime that's worthy of death on the testimony of 2 people, not 1 person, no, that's a line, you know, that's a lie way now. But on the testimony of 2 people, you can find the person guilty if the evidence show and if the crime is worthy of death, like disrespect the parents. Imagine how many kids be put to death and get their act together. If we're going to put our children to death if they disrespect. One of the laws say if a child won't listen to the voice of his mother or of his father, then you shall bring that child out to the front gate, and the men of the city shall come to your gate, and you shall give testimony on this child. And an example was, our child will not hearken to the voice of the mother or the voice of the father. Our child is a drunkard and don't want to listen to us. Oh, that's a stoning offense. When your mama and daddy talk, you better listen. That's the problem now with all these criminals running around shooting each other up at school, mall. They ain't listening. But the Lord made them listen. Now the Lord gave us something besides them rocks upside our head. Gave us the Lord release. Now let me tell you what's so beautiful about the Lord release. At the end of every 7 years, thou, meaning you, shall make a release. And this is the manner of the release. Every creditor which lendeth aught mean anything unto his neighbor, shall release it. He shall not exact it. Exact mean ask for. He shall not exact it again of his neighbor or of his brethren, for the Lord release. Now some folks say, well, that sounds like bankruptcy. No, that ain't what they saying. You can be the richest man in America or the world. You can be Jeff Bezos and get released of all your debts at the end of 7 years. It goes from the poorest to the richest, because at the end of every 7 years, the Lord releases all the people of their debt owed to the Lord. And the Lord feels if the Lord can release you of your debt, why can't you release your brethren of their debts? So it ain't no bankruptcy where it's only for the poor. So if you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire and you millions of dollars in debt, the end of the 7th year, you don't owe nobody nothing. It's like playing Monopoly. The Lord makes sure to reset the game every 7 years. And whatever you had in your possession at the time of the Lord release is yours. Have you not heard? possession is 9/10 of the law.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody tell you where it come from. That's because they don't want to go to the Old Testament. They say, don't look at the Old Testament. It ain't nothing but bad stuff in the Old Testament. When you look at the Old Testament, they got people thinking the Old Testament against gay folks and homosexuals. The Lord ain't against nobody. Read them things with understanding. Not what somebody tell you it means. Read it with a doggone dictionary and think, what is the Lord saying? Because the Lord loves all his creations. Ain't no, well, he made a mistake with you. No, he ain't made no damn mistake. You are what the Lord wanted you to be. As long as you be honest about it.
Yeah.
You're a man and you like a man, dress like a damn man and approach that man. So if that man like kitty cat, he ain't got to wait till he get home and find out you got one bigger than him. Shit. And if you a woman, dress like a woman. I mean, I know you studs and we used to call them butches. Y'all be dressed. Look, you ain't no damn man. You a woman. Dress like a woman. Step to that woman. Let that woman see you a woman. And if she down with your program, then fine. Don't deceive her and get her home. Got to cut the lights out. Put the strap on. Hell no. Hell no. That's bearing false witness. Bearing false witness. So what you're about to see played today called Thunder is my rant on a video about how these religious priests of Christianity, these doggone imams of Islam, and these doggone rabbis of Judaism have all conspired together to make us hate each other and lose our blessings. Because I can tell you, a Lord release here and there, and you get to keep what you was buying. That mean that car I was buying is mine. Shit. You mean that house I was buying is mine? And then I get to start afresh 6 years and I already got something? See, that's how you build wealth, generational wealth. See, folks be talking about generational wealth. Why we ain't got none? Because we ain't reading our Bible right. And the fact that I done asked all these Christians and folks in religious orders, I said, have you ever heard of the Lord release? They look at me like I'm talking Swahili. Lord release? Nope. I mean, I keep asking them. And look, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to go to this video. Then you got the ones who want to, well, you know, Jesus died on that cross in Calvary so that we wouldn't have to be under the law anymore. Not that I want to be out from under the law. The law is good, baby. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you a whole bunch. I did books. I actually wrote books, got them published, had them on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. But shit, if you have nobody pushing you, if you're not a politician well-known or actor well-known trying to get people to read a book, especially a book that say this is a new look into religion and how it applies to what's going on in the world with solutions. So I believe in solutions. And the Lord's law has solutions for every problem we got. And I wrote it out. It's easy to see. And everybody says, damn. But anyway, so here we are. We're about to watch a video in which the good Lord God has offered us an 850 credit score at the end of every 7th year.
Gotcha.
That means we start over with brand new credit. You know, women, you ain't got to go out there and lay down for a man with good credit. and ugly as hell. You can follow your heart to the man you really care about. So he gonna have good credit too at the end of 7 years. He get to do this 7 times in his life.
That's what,
for
7
those
times
of us
7.
read in the New Testament, where the man say, Jesus, how many times shall I forgive my brother? Is it 7 times? That's where that come from. That's up to 49. Because the 50th year is Jubilee. See, they try to get the Lord release confused with Jubilee. Jubilee is when you reach 50 years of age.
Okay.
But up until then, you working. The law of Moses even say that a priest is supposed to stop being a priest at 50. Everybody start working at 50. How they got us working till we 65 and talking about working us till we 70? Damn.
No, they're going against what their beliefs anyway, that they keep trying to promote with a nation, one nation up under God, but yet and still you want us to go ahead and sin. So
wait, you're right. I'm gonna finish this part because I know you're ready to play this.
Oh no, go ahead.
Hey, the folk that say we're under grace say, you know, Jesus died on that cross and his blood was shed so that we wouldn't be under the law anymore. He paid all our debts to the law. We no longer under the law. Now, I done had about 2 times in my life that I done caught a preacher saying that. Mm-hmm. And because the Lord empowers me and my tongue, I ask the simple questions. I say, whoever you are, reverend or preacher at the time, am I right? You're saying that Jesus died on the cross and his blood paid off all our debts to the law, so we no longer under the law. We don't have to obey nothing in the law no more. Is that what you're saying, sir? Because usually be men. Mm-hmm. And they'll say, you're right. Then I say, well, how in the world can you ask us to pay the tithes of tenths of prosperity when they're only ordered under the law of Moses? You know, I ain't seen a church yet. They ain't passing that basket talking about you need a tithe. No, that's the law. We under grace. All right. Then they come back. This is what they come back with. Well, the church need a building support fund. I say, fine. Call it a building support fund. Mm-hmm. Don't call it a tithe. And then go through these people's bank account records and checking account records. I ain't saying nothing, Creflo. Going through everybody's financials. And then saying, oh, you ain't paying us enough money. You supposed to pay us the whole 10%. You can't have grace in the law the way y'all say. Because if we can, I want my Lord released. Now, last point. When Jesus in the New Testament under the Gospel of Matthew say, this is how we pray, the Lord's Prayer. It say, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Mm-hmm. Somebody came along and rewrote that to say, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. See, they don't want you to even think about being free from debt. So while that's in your head, if you want to go ahead and play Thunder for them, you may go ahead, Miss Yolanda.
You know what? You told me something new because that is what we in church. But I'm about to go ahead and play this right now. Here we go. Let's get it.
Better time. I can't think of a better time. The world needs an answer. Our children need an answer. The Lord's release is ordered and commanded by the Lord God. Never did I read where Jesus the Christ said he came to destroy the law, only to fulfill it, meaning to do it. And Jesus did do it. He did what a priest supposed to do. He fed the multitude because that is the job of a priest, to feed. not to go buy Bentleys, not to go buy helicopters and jets and big mansions and fancy clothes, and then say to the congregation, hey, look how the good Lord has prospered me. If you pay your tithe, the Lord will prosper you like me. You see, they make fun of the congregation. For nowhere can a priest prosper in the name of the Lord God the Father. That's why you're not able. That's why they don't want you able to read the laws of the Lord God as given unto Moses. They just want you to think that the Lord hates you, wants to stone you for every offense without any kind of meaning to it. But I tell you what, I've noticed something watching the Christian network channels, and I ain't calling no particular name because they all in conspiracy together. I noticed that they'll go into chapter 27 and 28 of Deuteronomy. They love to tell the people how if you don't pay your tithes and offerings, how wicked misadventure or bad luck will approach you from 7 directions and overtake you if you don't pay your tithe to the last dime. What good is a religion where all they do is take from you? The Lord gave you something that was valuable enough for you to pay the tithe. Gave you 7 do-overs in your life. 7 chances to start back over, debt-free, with an 850 credit score, and to learn something from your last 6 years of life. How come the preachers ain't preaching this? Why does a lowly man like myself, Nathan, a.k.a. Unc the Naughty Saint, why I got to tell you? Tell them, when they ready to talk, let's talk. I don't think they want to talk.
I don't want to talk.
Still true today as it was when I made it. Them some nice beats. My nephew, Wayne Hartnett, he mixed it for me. Him and Rhythm D. They did that for me.
Oh, wow.
I appreciate the beat.
I'm like, when I heard it, when you first shared that with us, I'm like, oh my God, that's Mr. Nathan. And I'm walking around like, oh my God, he's my idea. I never knew anything about this, but to meet you, I can see, yes, this is something that you wrote. And just the passion and everything from behind that. Now, that's a rant in itself. You broke everything down. You showed it. You made it plain. What they said, show it and make it plain, or whatever the Christians say. All I know is that it's almost midnight.
All right, let me do my cannabis rant and be through.
No, wait, hold on. Let me look. I got you. Look, I ain't trying to rush you out of here. I ain't rushing you out of here because, like I say, I'm sorry. I had lost my train of thought at that moment. I really did, and it's been a rough one. So I didn't know whether or not if you need a little background or you good without your rant. I'm finna go ahead and put you on. I got your Unc Thunder right here.
Wow, this is a rant about cannabis. This is what I've been waiting on.
Oh, you waiting on that right there. Okay.
I'm waiting on my cannabis rant. I'm waiting for that. That's over with.
Okay. Let me go ahead. We got you. I'm finna go ahead and
Thunder was back in 2007, 2008. I was all into it. I mean, I wrote 5 books just about the law and about nature. Nature got a solution that can solve all our problems too. But anyway, let me tell you my rant on cannabis. Here is my rant.
All right, hold up. I'm going to put you full screen. Gotcha.
Okay. Both the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, as well as the Raymond P. Schaefer Commission, found that the only thing that was bad that they had to say could be a possible problem with cannabis was the unknown effects on the user after long-term use. Well, I've been smoking since I was 13 years old. I'm 63 now. I and others like myself are long-term users. See, they didn't want to use the findings from the studies of Jamaica and Greece. They say those people have simple lifestyle. They fish, they farm. What will be the effects in America where we have high technology and stuff? Well, I done worked in a lot of technological companies, and I'm going to tell you, us techies smoke marijuana, baby, because I'm explain why. We techies smoke marijuana because we use our brain to solve problems. When you use your brain to solve a problem, your brain get tired and it aches.
Yes.
Just like a person that use their bodies to go do construction and haul bricks, they come home, their body ache. Now, when they want to get relief, they can take a warm bath. Even drink them a couple of beers if they want to and pass out and they ready the next day. Nothing but physical work. But when you use mental, your brain hurts. You don't want to drink every night you come home. You become an alcoholic. You come slow. Alcohol is bad. Everybody knows the shit kill brain cells. And it tears up every organ in your body. Pour some on an ant and he'll shrivel up and die. Shit, it's telling you it ain't no good. So, since the only concern that the Schaefer and them had from the 1970s is what is the effect of long-term cannabis use, why won't they study us? There's a lot of us. We don't come forward because just like Timothy Leary, we're afraid that if we come forward and say, yeah, we use marijuana, you're going to put our ass in prison. Shit, that's violating our Fifth Amendment right. Shit, against self-incrimination. So the only people you're going to find that's going to admit they use marijuana is people with low-end jobs or unemployed. And then you say, look at what marijuana do to their brain. Shit, we smart people ain't going to risk no 6-figure salary or 7-figure salary or 10. You see what I'm saying? People with money ain't going to risk that to come forward and you talking about putting people in prison and say, wait a minute, I smoke marijuana. I've been smoking it for a long time and I'm a federal judge. I'm a Supreme Court justice. I got my eye on that Clarence Thomas. He want to make marijuana legal. I think he's smoking something. Okay? You go to, just imagine the problems a judge got to deal with every day.
No.
A lawyer, a prosecutor, you know they want to relax. They don't want to drink every day. You drink every night, you become an alcoholic. Plus, alcohol make people violent. It reduces their inhibition. They ready to snap on somebody. Marijuana cool you down. You be like, yo, what's up? Kid broke the radio or the TV. Oh, shit. Okay, damn. Let me smoke a little bit more. We look at getting another TV. I have to have a talk with them. You on alcohol and the kid broke the radio, the TV. Here come the belt and the strap. We gonna beat some ass. How dare you break that? Cause money don't grow on trees, you know. We gonna whip that.
I gotcha. I get it.
And they hypocritical too. See, during the Marijuana Tax Act, they said marijuana made you violent. It made you insane, aggressive. You would commit all kind of crime. And then when the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare did their reports in 1971 and 1972, and Raymond P. Schaefer did his commission report in 1972, and they say, marijuana don't do that. Marijuana help a person to do just what we want it to do. Relax us so we can deal with life. Life is crazy. Anybody who don't know life is crazy ain't living. Okay, if you live in life, there's some stuff go down that you just gotta smoke a joint. I mean, either that or you're gonna drink some alcohol. One or the other. So weed is safe. You cannot smoke yourself to death with marijuana. And it's damn near impossible to kill yourself with edible. They always talking about all these kids and people going to the emergency room. And they be like, what you mean? And did they die? What? No, they didn't die. They were asleep. They woke up.
Well rested.
Hell, I'd rather come find one of my grandchildren or children done passed out from smoking or eating an edible. And I'd be like, what the hell they done did? Oh, they done got that edible, huh? Uh-huh. Put their ass in bed. Ain't no way I'm going to give a hospital all that money when I know what it is. Okay, they done passed out. I know they going to wake up. It ain't going to do no damage to their brain or their body. They sleep. They sleeping.
They sleep. They get what they need.
And they gonna wake up. Now you give them too much alcohol or give them some of this big pharma dope, they may never see the light of day again. But that's okay, because the FDA got its own Gestapo called the police, whether they be federal DEA, FBI, state, GBI, or whatever your state government calls, city police, county police. Look, all of them jump on your ass for a little plant that ain't gonna hurt you. But if you riding around with a bottle with your name on it with pills that can kill everybody, oh, you free to go. I'm like, we tired of being stupid. At least I'm tired of being stupid. Okay. And if you're wondering why I can rant like this and talk about the government, didn't y'all hear me say I'm already dying? I got prostate cancer untreated. I got diabetes untreated, and I'm still eating good. I got PTSD. I got emphysema. I got DVTs, you name a letter, I got it, okay? In fact, I got a deficiency in vitamin D because I don't go outside enough. Yeah. They give me pills for that. They say I got a deficiency in vitamin B12. They giving me supplements for that. Hell, they say I ain't even got enough folic acid. Hell, I used to give folic acid to my plants. Yeah, it makes a good chelator when you're getting ready to do foliar feeding. That folic acid is good. Yeah. But those who grow know what the hell I'm talking about. It ain't got to be just growers of marijuana. If you're a grower of any plant and you know about folic acid, you know there is a chelator that will hold other nutrients. So when you spray your plant with a foliar feed, it all goes to the plant through the leaf. You know what I'm talking about. So my rant is, I'm tired of these assholes that don't know nothing about marijuana. I know. Talking all this shit about marijuana and don't have a leg to stand on, because when somebody challenged them, they're going to have to shut the fuck up like that so-called expert at my trial. Oh, yeah. Prosecutor, red face. He nervous. He finna lose the case. I told the jury basically to find me guilty. Or they were going to go after my lady friend, my co-defendant. I'm a man of honor. Thought they were men of honor.
That's a shame.
So when the judge was going to offer me probation, yeah, he was going to offer me probation, 20 years worth, so they can make me a slave for 20 years. If I took that deal, I was dead. I could never use cannabis. I know some folks say you can petition after 2 or 3 years and they drop the rest of the program. I'd have been dead by then. I went to prison because I told the judge that I was using cannabis hemp and I was using Delta 8 THC derived from legal cannabis, cannabidiol hemp. That prosecutor gonna tell me that's illegal. No, it's not. It's legal. Yeah. If you knew what a derivative was and an analog is, your dumb ass wouldn't know. I'm talking about the prosecutor wouldn't know that that's covered under the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, signed by Donald Trump. but they don't know nothing. And they don't want to know nothing because they being paid. Big Pharma, no, I got so many patents that Big Pharma holds on THC. You might say, well, why ain't saying CBD? Because they was loving THC. THC will fix everything basically in your body in the search for homeostasis, balance. They feel THC. It's the Batman. CBD is Robin, the boy wonder. Robin can do a little something, but if you're in trouble, you need the Batman with the utility belt. God damn.
Well, you need the sugar with the Kool-Aid. You just don't need just the Kool-Aid. You need it all, you know?
I want the whole plant. I use the whole plant. Let me make that perfectly clear. When I suppress my DDTs and Ps that are going to be coming for the rest of my life because these screws in my right knee will never come out. They are there for the rest of my life, so I'm going to be generating these blood clots for the rest of my life. When the whole plant, I either smoke the buds that I trimmed up, and no, that is not manufacturing. In fact, it was even stated in the hemp regs that trimming and pruning of the buds and stuff is not a process. That's still a grower. That's what I do. I smoke bud. I don't smoke leaf. If you smoking leaf, raise your game up, okay? Leaves are harsh. They're nasty taste, and they will make you choke. You don't want no leaves. You want good bud material.
Okay.
It smokes good. And if you trimming it in a trim bin, you're going to get THC from trichome. The little trichome gonna fall down in your bin. You got a little screen, they're gonna fall through the screen, and you collect. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know how in the world people smoke pure hash, because that's what hash is. The trichomes without the leaves.
Okay.
The trichomes got your THC, your CBD, and all them other cannabinoids and terpenes in it. Terpenes is what gives the plant its taste and smell. But they all inside that little bitty mushroom little thing that's on the outside, the external part of the plant. Now, you go to smoke that, and I done tried it. You ain't gonna smoke it. You gonna stop. It will take your breath away.
Okay.
I used to put a little bit in my joint, roll it up. You can tell when you get to the part where the trichome's at. You see little red flame kind of, they pop up little specks because it's burning. It's like you was burning bee pollen or something. It just, because that's all it is. It's sort of like a little pollen, you know.
Okay.
It just, but boy, it's stronger than the bud.
Oh.
And you'll put that joint down. I don't know what make these people think you smoking these joints and they strong as hell. You gonna smoke them and smoke them and smoke them. No, you get to a certain place, you gonna put that joint down. I don't know why they think people ain't gonna put it down. You gonna put it down. It's called self-titration. When you smoke it, when it enters your bloodstream, you get higher faster. If that's what your purpose is, you get higher faster, you put it out. Otherwise, you wasting the weed. Like Bill Clinton, talking about in England. He was with a group, and he was smoking marijuana, he didn't inhale. Fool, ain't nobody gonna give you their weed after they see you ain't inhaling. You ain't smoked nothing, or you a liar. You take the pick. You didn't smoke, or you a liar. Because if I give you a joint, because you ain't passing it back to me. See, that's one of the things about growing your own. You don't have to do this unsanitary type thing of passing a joint from person to person. I don't know where your mouth been. I don't want your mouth on my joint. I got enough. I'll give you a joint. Here. Shit. Wetting up my tip and stuff. Get it all wet. I don't want no yucky. So this is my rant. My rant is a challenge to the federal government and the state of Georgia. The lab rat calling you out. I'm willing to sign a waiver like you make these people sign a waiver for that low THC oil. I'm willing to sign a waiver that say I will not hold the state of Georgia responsible for my death. If I use my own cannabis, I ain't gonna grow none until I get it in writing.
I know that's
Trust
right.
Y'all want to put his brother back in prison. I ain't do no work for you. I don't know what you're doing with me in prison. Cause I ain't doing shit. I ain't did no work. I ain't do nothing. I got too many conditions, baby. But what I'm saying is on this challenge, I'll sign the waiver. You give me the time to grow my own, or at least allow some reputable growers to send me some of their cannabis until I can get mine up to speed. And you keep your synthetic drugs from your big money donors, you know. I ain't calling no name because you getting money from all of them.
Yep.
So you just let me sign that waiver, and I use the natural plant. I'll still go to the doctors so they can test me and all that. And I'm betting that the government's research is as good as I know it is. My cancer will be gone. My diabetes will be gone. All this shit will be gone. And I know you don't want to let me do it because if you got the sense of a gnat to know the truth, you already know I ain't lied one time to the people tonight. I have not told one fabrication at all. And I'm willing to put my life where my mouth is. I don't cry when I say I got cancer untreated. It's untreated because I ain't going to let you treat me. Do I look like a hot pocket you can stick in a microwave? Damn, I'd rather die a natural death. I'm over here gaining weight. Shit, I weigh 240-some pounds. I'm gaining weight. Cancer people, y'all treat me losing weight, be looking like refugees from what they call that place, Auschwitz or whatever, Auschwitz or whatever them damn Jews came out of, all skin and bone. Look at these people. Why I gotta lose all my hair? Why I gotta run around here feeling sick all day so you can give me some more medicine?
Making money.
I don't want that shit. So just like you're willing to be compassionate enough, government, to let these people that you're supposed to be getting this low THC off for, even though you keep playing all these games with these bills. Let me grow my own. I'll sign the waiver. And we'll see if your research and big pharma research on THC is true. I already know it's true. I'm punking you, government. I'm punking you. I'm saying bring it. So you made me worse when you put me in prison. Because once you go to prison, you don't come out soft. You come out hard. So don't pump around. If you're going to do something, let's put it on paper and let the challenge begin. The challenge of confrontation. Because I can beat your ass with the Bible because y'all lie there too, and I can beat you with cannabis. Ain't no sense, these old folks who got age-related illnesses, and that's all I got, age-related illnesses. You know we gonna get it. That's why you target us on your damn direct-to-consumer commercial. You always giving us some pills that gonna kill us or make us feel like shit while showing us playing with our grandchildren with a smile. Well, cannabis give us a real smile, no fake smile.
For sure.
Y'all faking y'all smile. We be smiling for real. we be like, push the little kid on the swing. Why not? We actually feel good while our bodies and mind is being repaired. So When I want to repair myself and give myself a good boost, I'm going to eat one of my edibles that I made.
Yeah.
I don't mind going to sleep. Hell, I'm going to take it when it's time to go to sleep anyway. I ain't trying to take it and drive an automobile. What is wrong with the government? They think everybody's a fool. And then they come with these crazy tests. Well, when the person was under marijuana, they could not perform the same task the way they used to because it was technical. I ain't smoking no weed to do no test. What are you, foolish? I smoke so I can relax. If I want to do work, I stay at work. Fool, I'm at home. I want to chill. Exactly. I don't want you asking me no test questions. I don't want to be counting 1 to 10 or count from 100 backwards or say my ABCs backwards. Man, for real, you blowing my high. Nobody come to you all when y'all drinking y'all Scotch whiskey and start talking about let's do some tests from algebra and trigonometry and stuff. And then they try to hold. Look, this the funny part, Mr. Love. They go and get these people for their test studies. I done told you. The techies and the people who got a good job or career. See, when you got a real good job, it's called a career.
Yeah.
And you making all this money, and the government, who ain't paying jack shit for this survey, say we need people to participate in our study. Maybe we can pay for your transportation or something. Ain't nobody going to that shit but the homeless and the unemployable. Okay? And half of them don't even know how to speak, read, count, do math, do anything already when they sober. So now they don't even know how to do shit, and you're going to give them a joint, and then when they still can't do shit, you want to blame it on the weed. This is just... Anyway, I'm going to stop because you're right. It's like, damn, it's 11:42. This was one hell of a record.
Do you realize this is the same way we are on the phone? Because it's like, it's hard. It's hard to say, hey, we got to go. Because look, I know you can go on and on, but I am just like, oh my God. It's just this one last question. If you got it in you, if you don't, it's not on there. But
all right, give it to me. Shoot it.
Okay, that one question, since you were talking about the drug testing and all that, can you go ahead and elaborate about how it's in your system? And after 30 minutes, I don't know how. Like,
okay.
Yeah, that one.
You're talking about the clearance half-life of THC,
gotcha,
as stated by the Mayo Clinic. This is how it works. THC, not to be confused with THC metabolites. The metabolites is what stay in your body days, weeks, sometimes months, depending on how much you ingest cannabis. Now, when it comes to the clearance half-life of THC itself, it has a clearance half-life of less than 30 minutes. So if you put 100 milligrams of THC, the active psychoactive material, into your body, after about 30 minutes, you're down to 50 milligrams. After another 30 minutes, you're down to 25 milligrams. After another 30 minutes, you add, we did 12.5 milligrams. And then it just keeps splitting every 30 minutes. It keeps splitting until there's no noticeable THC remaining in your body. It's gone. The only thing remains is the metabolite. And you who smoke, know I'm telling the truth. You smoke, you get high. You feel it while it's there. And then it fade away. That's when we relight sometimes if we really want to keep doing. If we don't want to keep going, we go to sleep. All right? Now, that's how that works. And let me tell you something about that testing, too. You know, in 1985, Ronald Reagan, they put a real push real hard push
Mm-hmm.
on public jobs being able to drug test, mandatory drug testing for all federal employees.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I understand why my dad, who worked at the post office, used to come home and drink Schaefer beer, or he buy him some gin or something. And I used to tell my dad I really didn't like when he drunk alcohol, you know, because even though he my idol and stuff, sometimes my pop would get a little boisterous towards some of my other siblings. He don't go around putting his hand on you like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you done something worth a whipping, he gonna get a belt and he gonna whip you. You know, it's a real whipping on the butt. It ain't like just walk up and pop the shit out you and stuff. You know, it ain't like that. But, you know, he can say things in words that can cut harder than if he hit you. You know, be like, damn, Dad, you gonna talk about me like that? Just hit me. I'd rather you just hit me and I just go about my business. But damn, if you gonna, cause my dad he always remember what either I or my sibling done. And you know that old saying, nobody know how to push that button like people that know you. Family know exactly what button to push to get up under your skin, right?
Yes, indeed.
So Dad would do that sometime when he was drunk and stuff, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to stop drinking. I tried drinking when I was in high school at Harbor High School. Tried to go down to a basketball game. We all had us some of that MD 2020. I don't know if y'all know what MD 2020 is.
Yeah, that night train. Yes, all of it. Fine apple wine.
I drunk a whole pint. My boy drunk a pint. Everybody drunk their own. We wasn't swapping spit, okay? We all had our own bottle. And we walked to the basketball game. We walked to the high school, you know. And we walked back. At least I think I walked back. I don't know how I got home. I woke up. I was in my bed. I don't know if you ever been blacked out and don't remember how you got home.
Yes.
I know we was walking down to the school, and then I woke up in my bed. And that's the worst part. The people start you're like, man, you was a fool when you was drunk. I was like, what? Man, you trying to fight with Jeffrey Mathis. I still remember the guy's name. I'm like, Jeff, that's my friend. Why the hell I'm trying to fight him? That wasn't the worst part. I walked up in the school, and some of the ladies, girls were there talking about, ooh, you showed out. And I'm like, did I get some? Shit, I don't even know if I got some. Now, you know that's cold. What if I got some and got lucky and don't even remember it? Oh, shit. I say no more alcohol like that for me. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When I went in the Navy, I did have a few drinks, because you ain't got nothing else. But I wasn't one of them people that go home and just drink. I have to have somebody around me. I'm a social drinker.
Okay.
If I'm at home, I can have a full bottle. I ain't drinking none of it. But now the little senorita was to come around. Hey, I let them drink. I don't know why, but women seem to have a hollow leg. They can drink the hell out of liquor. I don't know if it's because men buy it for them for free or women buy it for them. I don't know. I just be sipping mine like my dad taught me. He say, son, you drink your beer and you sip your liquor. So that's how I was. But anyway, when they start doing all that drug testing, this guy named Woodford, he was granted a patent in 1989, and he identified some of the fallacies with the drug test. And he mentioned that if the drug test, the way they was doing it, not observing all the points of check, then the THC metabolite could get a false reading from people who have melanin in their blood and body. For those who don't know what melanin is what gives people their color. It gives them their hair color, their eye color, their skin color. A person who is An albino is absent melanin.
Okay.
That's why the eyeball look pink, hair ain't no color. Eyebrows ain't got no color. Well, the more melanin you got in your system, the more likely you are to get a false positive on those drug tests for employment, careers, whatever.
Wow.
The more likely you are to get a false positive while you're in the military. And if they let the sample, usually a urine sample, sit before they test it, they take it and let it sit for a few days or so, that melanin will clump together and the test will detect it as THC metabolite. You will get a false positive. I'm not saying that this was a scheme by our federal government.
So it's thinking.
To put a lot of people of color, whether they be Latinos or African Americans or whatever, out of employment. But when I think about federal employment, a lot of blacks are in federal employment.
You're right.
And it's mandatory, even though the federal circuit court judges had already found it before Nixon them implemented this, not Nixon, Ronald Reagan implemented this, that mass testing of people was unconstitutional. You see, the mass testing violates your Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person. They're invading your body to take bodily fluids.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Now, if you haven't done anything wrong, why in the hell I gotta pee in a bottle? And say it's policy is unconstitutional. That's like saying policy is the police can now just walk all up in your house without a warrant. You can't make that policy. So how can you make a policy that you can make people submit to drug testing unless you have a reason to believe they're under the influence of drugs? So there's a lot of things they do, and they act like, oh, we trying to protect the public. They failed once when they tried to use the Congress prohibitive tax. Congress has the ability to raise taxes. So they made a prohibitive tax against marijuana. Never once making marijuana illegal, just saying you had to be registered to use it. All right? When that was found to be unconstitutional and shot down, they replaced it by the only other tool the Congress has without allowing for the people to do a nationwide vote. And that is public health, safety, and morals. So when these doctors came back and they say marijuana ain't dangerous to the health of the individual user, and it don't pose a threat to public safety as far as crime, and if you do it in privacy and out of every little kid's face, it don't have nothing to do with public moral. Well, technically, they ain't supposed to have nothing. We supposed to be able to grow our own, Jack. Shit. I'm at home. Only grown-ups allowed on your program. It's got an R rating. I saw it. So ain't no kids supposed to be watching this.
No, they're not supposed to.
And that's the same as if you at home. Your kids sleep, cool. Hell, if you want to really keep it right, put some weed inside of a cigarette, tube.
That's what they call it.
If your kids see it, they think you just smoking tobacco. But I don't even like having them confuse my kids with a doggone cigarette. Because then they might run out and grab a tobacco cigarette. And while I still smoke, yeah, I smoke. So be like, You ain't afraid. You already got cancer, old dude, and diabetes and a whole lot of other stuff. You'll smoke a cigarette.
You
Yep.
breathe the air. You
I
breathe the
was
air.
smoking cigarettes when I was growing my own cannabis, chain smoking. I chain smoked tobacco more so than the cannabis.
Mm.
And my body still. I got reports from the VA saying, please tell the patient, which is I, that everything looks good. There's no evidence of any pulmonary activity. He's good to go. All systems look great. He just needs his cholesterol a little high. He needs to comply with using his rosuvastatin, aka Crespo. Because I wasn't using it. I wasn't. But it was 2018. I had already stopped using all synthetic drugs.
What?
They couldn't find no DDTs, no PEs, no nothing. Nobody talking about he got diabetes. Nobody talking about he got cancer. I done had so many tests, including colonoscopy. Nothing is wrong, Mr. Johnson. They'd have been said it. Because the way they acted when they found out that my PSA was 20 something, the VA said it was 18.5 on there. But the way they acted was like I was about to die in a minute. And I got enough dope up on my shelf over here. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a shelf up here. They just sent me all these dopes. Plenty dope. They got me dope for days. I mean, I have put on that with me. You know, more dope. They got dope for everything. All this dope.
Wow.
They say I can't use alcohol or smoke weed while I'm on parole. But look at all this dope I got. Look at all this. I mean, I still got more dope.
And you supposed to trust that.
Hospital.
Wow.
They just send it in the mail. All this dope.
And if you take too much of that, you could die.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You could take, they send it all to you at one time.
Shit, if I take too much vitamin D, I can die. Too much vitamin B12, I can die. Too much folic acid, the way they got it, I can die. They just, it's so crazy. It's like, with all this knowledge floating around in my head, and with all the documentation to back up what's in my head, it's like I'm in the twilight zone. It's like I'm trying to get the attention of a society government that seem hell bent on ignoring the facts. They'd rather put me in prison and keep it silent than have to address the fact that the government, the General Assembly, has lied to all us Georgians. And I have to bring up Georgians because other states that know the lab rat has been doing their job and they're making cannabis marijuana legal in their state. So I got to talk for Georgia. For all of you who wonder what the hell I was for the last 20 months, I was in prison. Georgia chain gang, the real deal, baby. The real deal. All because of a prank.
That's a shame.
So that's the end of my rant.
You know what, Mr. Nathan? I'm grateful for your rant, and I know that we're gonna come back and revisit this because it's been like a 3-hour interview. I ain't complaining. I am grateful. Like I said, time just went by because, whoo, wow.
Well, I tried to keep it short. I just skimmed over the top of things because we can go real deep.
Yeah, because I'm looking at. I mean, we probably have to break down each one of your dadgum exhibits. That's what I was showing the I had shared the screen with all the exhibits that you did share, and that's not even all of the stuff. And like I say, I can go ahead and put this up on the website so people can find it, you know, especially lawyers, so that they can get the information. So that
if you're looking for folk that got standing, and the reason I say got standing, not just for Georgia, for the whole US of A.
Mm-hmm.
We've already filed the document. I'm going to get a new trial. Hell, they denied me a public defender and I'm on fixed income. They didn't even give me a standby counsel. Shit. One didn't want to tell me how to do procedure, just want to say, nope. Because what that Georgia Attorney General heard during my motion hearing on June 8th, scared the living daylights out of them.
What was that then?
They heard knowledge.
They wasn't expecting it.
I don't like to bring up race, because like I said, I went to school with a lot of white folks. I don't work with a lot of white folks. I was in the service with white folks, and I got good white friends right now. I mean, I can name a bunch of them. So I know some folks say, ain't no white man, no white friend. They just waiting to betray you when the time comes. I know some good ones.
Oh, hey, you went away a little bit.
I'm over here trying to put some tobacco in my machine so I can make me another cigarette.
Oh, okay.
I make my own. I got a machine. So I got a machine.
Okay.
I make my own. Hell, cigarettes cost too much money. I like to use a pipe tobacco that they sell by the pound and give it a filter. I got boxes with tubes.
Okay, I got you.
See, I got the tubes. I make my own cigarette. See, them store-bought cigarettes, I figured it out. They designed to kill folks.
Okay.
Only smoke. I try to smoke when I can, just non-menthol. Like I say, I know some good white folk, but I still know the government crazy. The government has always tried to find a legal way to harm people of color. I'm not saying individuals, so if you know me and you watching this, don't start freaking the hell out. I ain't calling you out. I'm calling the government out.
They like I said, not all people are bad. Not all, I mean, just all people. You know, you got good and bad people. So it don't matter your race, you know? So yeah, I've experienced all of it.
I try to stay away from menthol.
Okay.
For two reasons. Once I did a study, when I was studying on it, as far as endothelial cell death, when they originally put flavorings into tobacco products and why they got rid of all of them, but they left menthol. It used to be a time you get different flavored cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
They cause cancer in your organs. And the worst of the flavoring was strawberry. Dimethylpyrazine is the name, the scientific name. Strawberry flavoring is the worst flavor. I know they put it in sodas, they put it in crackers. Within 30 minutes of being within 30 minutes of being exposed to dimethylpyrazine, which tastes like strawberry, die. The cells die. It kills them. Now, menthol also is a flavoring which causes cancer. So I wondered why my white friends seem to smoke non-menthol cigarettes. I wonder, are y'all getting that rocket fuel in your cigarettes? Are you getting the cyanide and battery acid and everything else they put in menthol cigarettes? I think not. They getting tobacco. We're getting everything else. And it's camouflaged with the menthol. Why you think that even now that they mentioned that menthol is bad and they want to get rid of menthol cigarettes, President Biden them dragging their damn feet on outlawing menthol cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, but they're catering to, you know, the people of color, because, you know, growing up in the 70s, all I used to see the Cools or the Winstons, not the Winstons, but the Salems, you know, the Newports, all of these brands catered towards the Black people. And I'm just like, yeah, I get it. I mean, that's understandable, because I know when I was in school, you know, when I was in drama and stuff like that, the kids that I was with, they were mostly white and they smoked Camels. So I was either smoking Camels or I was smoking Marlboros up until I couldn't smoke anymore. Because I was highly allergic to tobacco smoke, what I thought, up until, like I say, I started utilizing cannabis, and now I'm able to be in the same room with tobacco smoke, because of the plant. Because once upon a time, that's what took me out the truck, because I was highly allergic to tobacco smoke.
Now, my dad, who educated himself, he had to drop out of school in the 8th grade, but you would never know it. My dad read everything he could put his hands on. When he came home to watch TV, he watched Discovery Channel. He watched PBS. He one of them people that donate to PBS. I ain't talking about just watch it. He'll pull out his checkbook and send them money. Be getting these books and stuff that they send you for as a gift for, sending money.
Yeah.
He used to smoke a cigarette that I didn't even understand at the time, but I understand now. He used to smoke Benson and Hedges Light 100. Didn't have no menthol in them. I was like, damn, oh shit, cause I was already smoking cigarettes. Now you run out of smoking, smoke anything. Okay, as far as cigarettes go, when you run out, I go over there to get a cigarette out my dad's pack, but it's the non-menthol. It got the white tube all the way down. It don't have no brown at the field. It's white all the way down. Yeah. And you smoking and it's like, ugh. But he knew something. Cause all the other black folks and shit, they smoking menthol.
Yeah.
My dad was smoking non-menthol, even back then. So, okay, come on now. We don't went past.
We good. We gonna go ahead and shut this thing on down. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Any last words?
Right. I had fun tonight. That's my last word. I always have fun when I get to drag the federal government and the state government over the coast. I told you, ain't nothing I hate more than a lie. And that's been reinforced by being in prison. Nobody likes a liar, because a liar will steal from you.
Yes, they will.
And everybody know what we do with thieves in the penitentiary or the prison. Yeah. Put them on the door. Get out of here. We don't want you. Can you imagine that honor among criminals? They don't want nobody around that steals. Because they don't want nobody stealing from them. They might be in there from stealing from somebody else.
But don't violate me.
Don't violate me, baby. We'll put you on the door. Get the hell up out of here. And that's it, Yolanda.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I'm going to go ahead and put this thing, once I take this thing on off, I appreciate everybody who joined in, everybody that hung in for so long. That we had quite a few that hung in.
Yeah, they hung in.
3 hours.
There's some hangovers, boy, because we've been talking a long time.
Well, like I say, I appreciate it. And I thank everybody for coming, for tuning in. Thank everybody for the comments, input. And like I say, y'all catch the recap. I'm going to try and drop some of these I'm all over the place. Don't even worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and just play the outro. And we finna go. All right, Mr. Nathan, I appreciate you. We're going to talk to you later. So if you want to hang on to the backstage, you can. If not, when I cut this off, then we can, just go to sleep. Because I know I got a meeting. I got to be at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I guess I'm going to go on to sleep because I don't even know what a backstage is.
All right. Y'all take care. And I'll see you soon.
All right. I'm going to close out. Bye-bye. Enjoyed everybody. Hope I was of some use to anybody that was watching. That's all.
All right.
We'll
go ahead and I'm finna go ahead and play the crest. Here we go. Let's go.
better time. The world needs an answer. Our children need an answer. The Lord's release is ordered and commanded by the Lord God.